Chapter 61. Demonstrating Great Divine Power. At this moment, in the square in front of the sect gate, amidst countless gazes, Yi-chan and Jin Xianlai stood facing each other, separated by over 10 meters. Jin Xianlai, at the age of around 23 or 4, was not much of a talker, but his eyes, fixated on Yi-chan like a predator stalking its prey, emanated a chilling ferocity. Just from his gaze, one could tell that he had taken many lives with his hands. Jin Xianlai, at the 9th layer of the true Qi realm, is said to not be innately talented, but he is extremely ruthless with himself. Rumor has it that he once ventured into 10,000 Beasts Mountain alone to hunt demon beasts and hone his true Qi, spending a full 3 years before emerging. He slaughtered thousands of demon beasts in the mountains and also killed numerous disciples from other sects. His hands are already blood-stained. This kind of person, with terrifying real combat experience, Elder Zhou Yuntian chose to send him out first. It looks like his aim isn't just to kill Yi-chan, but also to probe all of Yi-chen's techniques. Sect disciples who knew of Jin Xianlai were quietly discussing his background. I heard that not long ago Yi-chen, with only the 5th layer of True Qi realm, managed to counterkill someone at the 7th layer. But no matter how powerful he is, it can't be possible for him to fight against a 9th layer True Qi realm expert so soon. If he no longer has that spirit talisman that can withstand the attack from a spirit Sea realm expert, I'm afraid Jin Xianlai could directly kill him. After Yi-chan returned to the Qingyun sect, he had only made 2 moves, once to save his maid tower by cutting off the hand of a 7th layer True Qi disciple, and the other time was to use a spirit talisman to directly withstand a killing strike from Zhou Yuntian. As for Yi-chen's true strength, not to mention the sect disciples, even Zhou Yuntian and Luo Kuan didn't know the full extent. The battle that was about to begin between Yi-chan and Jin Xianlai was the best opportunity for them to gauge Yi-chen's strength. Boom! Just as Yi-chan had stood firm, a sudden flash of cold light burst from Jin Xianlai's eyes, and the enormous true Qi in his body erupted violently. He stomped the ground so hard that a large chunk of bluestone shattered beneath his feet, and like a humanoid beast, he lunged at Yi-chan with explosive force. Jin Xianlai's eyes were fiercely brutal, and without uttering a single word, he launched his attack. Almost before many of the sect disciples had time to react, he had already charged to Yi-chen's side. Can he block it? Jin Xianlai's horrifying charge tightened the chests of many sect disciples. They felt that if this charge were aimed at them, apart from those who were above the 10th layer of True Qi, not many could withstand it. These sect disciples all turned toward Yi-chan, eager to see how he would defend against Jin Xianlai's ferocious onslaught. Clang! Before they could get a clear view, they heard an extremely faint sound of a sword's cry. Then, almost at the moment Jin Xianlai, who was charging explosively toward Yi-chan, neared him, he swiftly retreated backward at high speed. Their advance and retreat seemed almost without interval. What happened? No one saw clearly whether Yi-chan and Jin Xianlai had actually clashed, but when Jin Xianlai leapt back to his original position like a cheetah, everyone noticed a faint trail of blood suddenly appeared on his forehead. And in Jin Xianlai's eyes, which previously brimmed with ferocity, fear surfaced when he looked back at Yi-chan. Jin Xianlai was afraid. It was clear from his eyes that Jin Xianlai was afraid. Could Jin Xianlai, known as the Blood-Handed Butcher, who had fought in 10,000 Beasts Mountain for more than 3 years, and whose combat experience at the 9th layer of the True Qi realm was incredibly vast, actually fear Yi-chan? The onlooking sect disciples couldn't believe it. Did you see it clearly? No, I couldn't see anything at all. I just saw Jin Xianlai charge and then retreat explosively. Did Yi-chan and Jin Xianlai already exchange blows just now? Many people whispered among themselves. At that moment, a True Qi realm disciple at the 12th layer, looking at Yi-chan, had a glint in his eyes. Such fast swordsmanship. Just now Yi-chan already made a move, a sword move. Had Jin Xianlai not been extremely experienced in real combat and keenly aware of the scent of death, he would have died at Yi-chan's hand. Even so, he was still injured. Look at the bloodstain on his forehead. If it had been a bit deeper, his head would likely have been penetrated. The words of this 12th-layer true Qi realm disciple made many nearby onlookers inhale sharply. So Yi Chen truly made a move? And with just one move, forced Jin Xianlai into retreat and even caused injury. Many still couldn't believe it. At this time, Zhou Yuntian, standing in the void, snorted angrily at Jin Xianlai. "Get down from there. You are no match for Yi Chen." As a mid-stage Spirit Sea realm expert, Zhou Yuntian had a clearer view of the battle. Because he understood, he was annoyed. He wanted to see more of Yi Chen's techniques, but Yi Chen had defeated the disciple he sent out with just one move, which was like a loud slap to his face. Jin Xianlai, rebuked by Zhou Yuntian, wore a heavy expression, seemingly deep in thought, but as he stepped down, he suddenly raised his head to look at Yi Chen. "Yi Chen, thank you for showing mercy. That move just now could have killed me, and even if I had tried to retreat explosively, it would be too late. I've lost, defeated by your hand." After speaking, Jin Xianlai didn't stay at the sect gate square any longer, but instead swiftly flew away, heading out of Qing Yun's sect. The words of Zhou Yuntian and Jin Xianlai stirred a huge commotion on the square at the sect gate, and even those who did not understand the recent clash between Yi Chen and Jin Xianlai came to know that in the span of that one move, Yi Chen had defeated Jin Xianlai. Yi Chen turned out to be so powerful. It seemed he had the means to face mid-stage Spirit Sea realm expert Zhou Yuntian head-on without fear. Profound grade swordsmanship? Could it be that Yi Chen has successfully cultivated a set of Shen-rank sword techniques? In the sky, the sect master Luo Kuan and the other 7 elders of the Qingyun sect exchanged glances, their eyes filled with profound shock. They had never seen such a terrifying sword technique with such formidable attacking power from a disciple at the 6th layer of true Qi. Upon looking at Yi Chen again, after he had repelled Jin Xianlai with a single sword strike and still maintained a calm demeanor, they felt that this young man was even more unfathomable. "Young master, you are so amazing." From the sidelines, the little girl tower waved her small fists high and shouted out loud. She had seen Yi Chen confront Zhou Yuntian, being oppressed by 9 powerful figures standing in the sky, and then witnessed a sword-carrying girl riding a white eagle come to aid her young master. The little girl tower felt that she had seen more things today than she had in the past 12 years combined, and it was even more exciting. Her young master, Yi Chen, had truly brought her too many surprises. "Yi Chen, Sister Jiang Yao said that you could deal with opponents in the 9th layer of the True Qi realm. I didn't expect that now you could defeat a 9th layer True Qi expert with one move. Have you improved a lot these days?" "Impressive. Even within the Taishan sect, I have never seen anyone at the 6th layer of True Qi who is so formidable. You truly are worthy of being the person Sister Jiang Yao is concerned about." Lu Chan'er, who had been paying close attention to Zhou Yuntian's movements, looked at Yi Chen with indescribable surprise in her eyes. In the midst of being the center of attention from thousands, Yi Chen whispered to himself, "Wind sword skills, a Shen-rank technique, is indeed powerful. Without the difference in true Qi, this set of sword techniques alone would probably allow me to dominate the entire true Qi realm." The sword technique Yi Chen used against Jin Xianlai was the Shen-rank lower-grade technique, Wind sword skills, which he had painstakingly studied after emerging from the Thousand Lotus Cave abode. "Sure, Tian. Go deal with Yi Chen. His martial skills are very powerful. Remember to use true Qi to suppress him. His true Qi is only at the 6th layer, and can't compare with your 10 layers of true Qi. After you exhaust his true Qi, then strike and kill him directly." After Yi Chen repelled Jin Xianlai with one move, Zhou Yuntian once again called upon a disciple from the Heavenly Net sect. Boom! This disciple from the Heavenly Net sect, with long hair scattered and a slender figure at the age of 19, vibrated with true Qi upon hearing Zhou Yuntian's words and swiftly leapt from the crowd, taking a stance opposite Yi Chen. Just from his flying technique alone, one could tell that this person's true Qi was much stronger than Jin Xuanlia's. Shi Tian, a disciple of the Heavenly Net sect at the 10th layer of True Qi realm, another summoned by Zhou Yuntian to deal with Yi Chen. "Yi Chen, your sword technique really surprised me. However, a fight doesn't rely solely on martial skills. True qi is equally important. Without sufficient true qi, even the strongest martial skill won't have a chance to be used. The gap between the 6th and 10th layers of true qi is substantial. Today, I will let you see just how vast the gap in true qi can be. Shi Tian wasn't as subdued as Jin Xianlai before. From the moment he arrived, he tried to shake Yi Chen's foundation with his words, making him a far more fearsome opponent than someone like Jin Xianlai, who wore his killing intent on his face. Yi Chen glanced at Shi Tian and said indifferently, "No need for words. Make your move." This was Yi Chen's first time facing an opponent at the 10th layer of the true qi realm, and he was more focused than before. Yet, part of his mind was still alert to Zhou Yuntian's actions. Yi Chen always felt that Zhou Yuntian would not simply send a few true qi realm disciples to deal with him. Shortly after the brief conversation between Yi Chen and Shi Tian, seeing that his words couldn't stir any agitation in Yi Chen, Shi Tian made his move. Boom! He spread his hands and a vast amount of true qi burst forth from his body, shooting 10 or so meters high, enveloping him. Then, with a fierce bend at the waist, he punched down on the ground. True qi piercing, explosive kill. As Shi Tian's fist struck out, the formidable true qi around him poured into the ground, and in an instant, the land where Yi Chen stood collapsed, while more than 30 huge spire of true qi erupted from beneath Yi Chen, piercing towards him. The astonishing true qi and the eerie martial skill left many of the watching sect disciples in shock. True qi burst into the ground, passing through more than 10 meters of earth, and suddenly launching spire of true qi. If caught off guard, one would likely be instantly pierced through by these spines. And the person who made the move was more than 10 meters away, making it very difficult to counterattack. While many watching sect disciples were startled, Yi Chen, who was being targeted by the more than 30 huge spire of true qi, suddenly soared into the air, floating in the sky in an instant. At the same time, he reached out his hand towards the void, and instantly, more than 50 swords of true qi formed and hovered around him. Boom! 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 With a terrifying violet light erupting from the more than 50 swords of true qi that had formed instantly, they smashed towards the more than 30 spire of true qi. These swords of true qi, in the blink of an eye, annihilated all the spire of true qi into smoke. And Yi Chen, who hung suspended in midair for a moment, reached out again, and after having shredded the spire of true qi, the more than 50 swords of true qi strangely changed direction, reflecting back towards Shi Tian, who was more than 10 meters away. Afterward, Yi Chen landed back on the ground. Watching Yi Chen hang in the air for a moment, summoning more than 50 swords of true qi instantly, and then witnessing the swords emit the glow of sword techniques, Zhou Yuntian and Luo Kuan, along with the 7 great elders of the Qingyun sect, all exclaimed in unison, "Sword intent! This is sword intent!" Chapter 62 Yi Chen's Strength. Yi Chen has actually comprehended sword intent. How is that possible? Sword intent, the highest realm of swordsmanship training. Once entering this realm, one can surpass the sword technique itself, breaking free from the constraints of the sword. One can turn everything into a sword, into swordsmanship. Sword intent, compared to mere sword techniques, can increase in power by several times or even dozens of times more. Such a realm, rare amongst thousands of sword cultivators, even amongst Spirit Sea realm experts, there are not many who can achieve it. To see Yi Chen, amidst his fierce battle with Shi Tian, wielding sword intent techniques, how could Zhou Yuntian and Luo Kuan not be shocked and even astonished? Even though the few of them were Spirit Sea realm experts, none had comprehended the technique of sword intent. Yi Chen had already surprised them time and again. As the Spirit Sea realm experts shouted the word sword intent, the more than 50 swords of true qi unleashed by Yi Chen had already pierced towards Shi Tian. Watching the swords of true qi, shooting at high speed, and the purple lightning sword light that obliterated the spire of true qi in an instant, Shi Tian's pupils suddenly contracted. Then he burst into the air, clenching a spell in his palm with force. With a boom, the 10 true qi vortices in his qi sea shook violently, and a vast surge of true qi, as mighty as a racing river, swept out of his body once more. This massive true chi even formed a couple dozen meters long gigantic azure dragon, encircling Shirtion, layer upon layer, completely enveloping Shirtion within the phantom of the true chi dragon. Boom! 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 Next, the swords of true chi controlled by Yi Chun collided with the gigantic azure dragon. On the mountain gate square, numerous sect disciples saw an astonishing sight. Countless purple lightning sword lights, like dragon-slaying swords, kept slashing at the roaring true chi dragon, with waves of sword light surging forth and emitting blinding purple electric glows, even making many sect disciples involuntarily close their eyes. And Shirtion, continuously slashed at by the sky full of true chi flying swords, was like a living target, passively enduring the assault. Only after each sword of true chi had fallen no less than 100 times, reducing the true chi dragon that hovered around Shirtion's body to half its original size, did the true chi on the swords of true chi finally deplete. Yi Chun reached out with a clutch in midair, and in the void outside his body, a large swath of true chi flying swords emerged once more. This skyful of true chi flying swords even reached more than 80 in number, more than and denser than the initial swords of true chi. Then the swords of true chi once again burst toward Shirtion. Before Shirtion could even catch a breath, he saw the true chi flying swords blasting towards him again. He had no choice but to once again surge the true chi from within his chi seize vortex, turning it into a dragon to protect his body. Shirtion, who kept getting hit passively, reddened with frustration. He never imagined that with his 10-layered true chi realm, he would actually be suppressed by Yi Chun. This made him feel utterly disgraced, especially in front of the crowd and the several Spirit Sea realm experts. I can't go on like this. I must counterattack. Shirtion gritted his teeth, and as he grasped in the air, a 7 or 8 meter long black spear suddenly appeared in his hand. Then, the true chi dragon coiled around Shirtion directly lunged with the spear in midair, and a dozen or so meters long gigantic spear shadow immediately emerged and sped towards Yi Chun. In an instant, the spear shadow pierced through a dozen-meter gap to appear right in front of Yi Chun. At the moment Shirtion unleashed his spear skill, a spark flashed in Yi Chun's eyes. True chi surged out from his body once more, transforming directly into a sky full of sword rain, clashing head-on with the gigantic spear shadow. In front of Shirtion, purple lightning true chi flying swords and the true chi dragon violently collided. Around Yi Chun, a sky full of sword rain engaged in fierce combat with the gigantic spear shadow. The entire area occupied by Yi Chun and Shirtion had turned into a feral ocean of true chi. The thunderous roars continued to resound in this wild ocean of true chi. Merely from the sharp edges of true chi shooting out of this area, the gigantic green stones laid in the mountain gate square dozens of meters away were directly shattered. This terrifying battle caused the watching sect disciples to retreat dozens of meters again before they could settle down, lest they be inadvertently harmed by the randomly shooting true chi. Looking back towards the center, seeing Yi Chun bravely fighting Shirtion without any fear, they were all deeply shaken in their hearts. Is this Yi Chun's strength? Even against a 10th-layer true chi expert, he doesn't fall behind at all? Yi Chun's formidable combat power completely surpassed that of a nominal disciple. He was far more formidable than many official disciples. Yi Chun's attacking martial skills are indeed extraordinary, able to resist Shirtion's powerful true chi oppression with just his sword intent techniques. A 4-level difference in true chi realm, and he's still fighting to a standstill. Heavens! This! In the sky above, Qingyun Sect's sect master Luo Kuan and the 7 elders watched Yi Chun battling Shirtion on equal footing, and in their eyes, a hint of regret flashed. Yi Chun was once their sect disciple but was expelled from the sect by them personally. At the true chi 5-layer realm, he was able to counterkill a 7-layer expert. With the 6-layer realm, he managed to comprehend sword intent and could even fight on equal terms with a 10-layer expert. This disciple, a genius that the Qingyun sect rarely produces in hundreds of years, was actually pushed out by them. To comprehend sword intent, as long as the true chi realm keeps up and given time, there is even a great possibility of breaking through to the Spirit Sea realm. they have pushed away a potential Spirit Sea Realm powerhouse. If we had been able to protect Yi Chun earlier, then our Qingyun sect's strength might have soared to another level. Many Qingyun sect elders now shook their heads and sighed. However, fighting on like this, his true qi is bound to be exhausted eventually. After all, the true qi of someone at the 6th layer can't compare to the vastness of the 10th layer's true qi. In the shock of their hearts, several looked for disadvantages in Yi Chen's current manner of fighting to avoid feeling so regretful. To continue fighting like this against Shi Tian? Seeking death. Zhou Yuntian, who was on the sidelines, watched Yi Chun crazily attacking Shi Tian. He observed that both of their energies were continuously shrinking amidst these fierce attacks, and a glint of cold light flashed in his eyes. At this moment, Shi Tian, who wielded a long spear and drew shocking spear shadows in the air, stirred his spear tip again. The huge spear shadow, which was several meters long, suddenly split into shadows and turned into more than 20 spear lights, exploding towards Yi Chun once more. His entire attack power surged suddenly, breaking the tense situation of the battle. Die, Yi Chun. To die under my strongest attack, the blood shadow spear skills, you should be content. Boom! 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 Within Shi Tian's great roar, his huge spear in the sky traced countless shocking rainbows, causing even the void it pierced through to tremble violently. The sky full of sword rains bombarding around Yi Chun were shattered by the spear light into many pieces, and Yi Chen's true qi also began to shrink considerably more than before. Is he going to lose? For someone at the 6th layer of true qi to fight to this extent against someone at the 10th layer, that's already a record. But, in the end, it's not enough. Many sect disciples watching the fight could see Yi Chen's impending defeat. Young Master! Young Master! The little girl tower, watching as Shi Tian suddenly burst forth and pressured her young master, was extremely anxious. No. Yi Chen won't lose so easily. I heard Sister Jiang Yao say, Yi Chun has mastered 3 sword intents, and also has the terrifying sword qi spirit liquid. He hasn't used them yet. He still hasn't employed many of his methods. He's simply showing the enemy weakness. Lu Chan'er, seeing Yi Chun being suppressed by Shi Tian, had this thought flash through her mind. Just as this thought crossed her mind, as Shi Tian was crazily asserting dominance with his shocking spear shadows, and as all the sect disciples thought Yi Chun was about to lose. Boom! Inside Yi Chen's body, a surge of silver true qi suddenly swept out. This silver true qi was so dazzling, so brilliant, that as soon as it appeared, it completely overshadowed the spear shadows of true qi-filled skies from Shi Tian with its silver light. Then, this burst of silver true qi suddenly transformed, turning into countless droplets of silver sword rain, directly confronting Shi Tian's sky full of spear shadows. Puffed, puffed, puffed. Shi Tian's complete outburst, attacking with his strongest moves, was directly scattered by the silver sword rain. Even under the slicing of the silver sword rain, all the spear shadows of true qi were burned to nothingness. Not just dissipating the true qi, but directly burning it into nothingness. This was a clear indication that the silver sword rain was completely crushing the true qi of Shi Tian's spear shadows. Gang Yuan true qi. This was none other than the uniquely powerful true qi born from Yi Chen's cultivation of the Gang Yuan chapter of the primordial star scripture. The Gang Yuan true qi that surpasses the heaven and earth true qi by countless times. Yi Chun had finally unleashed his second method. Chapter 63. Jiang Yao arrives. From Yi Chen's sword of true qi infused with sword intents pressing down on Shi Tian to fight, to Shi Tian's counterattack with his spear causing both sides to engage in a tense battle that unleashed violent storm-like true qi, and then to Shi Tian leveraging his robust true qi to launch a counteroffensive and suppress Yi Chun. The battle between Yi Chun and Shi Tian underwent repeated changes. Now, Yi Chun had unleashed his second major tactic beyond sword intents, Gang Yuan true qi, turning the tide of battle once again. The countless droplets of silver sword rain formed from the Gang Yuan true qi, after incinerating the oncoming spear shadow true qi into nothingness, didn't stop there. They shot directly towards Shi Tian with explosive force. This time, the silver sword rain was even faster and more terrifying than the previous sword of true qi. It reached Shi Tian's face in an instant. The thought of the silver sword rain capable of incinerating the heaven and earth true qi was enough to astonish Shi Tian. He found himself facing an onslaught like a deluge descending from the sky, with no possibility of escape. During the final assault, Shi Tian thought he had secured certain victory, having transformed the protective true qi dragon around him into an offensive true qi to strike at Yi Chen. Now, under Yi Chen's counterattack, Shi Tian had no time to reactivate his protective true qi. Shi Tian panicked. He desperately retreated at full speed, but how could his speed possibly match that of the silver sword rain? The silver sword rain, an attack formed by infusing Gang Yuan true qi with storm rain sword intent. Not only was it tremendously powerful, but its speed was shockingly fast. Just as Shi Tian had retreated only 5 or 6 meters, the silver sword rain had already covered more than 10 meters, piercing Shi Tian's body directly. Spurt, 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 spurt. In an instant, the sky full of silver sword rain bombarded through various parts of Shi Tian's body and then shot through it. In a flash, Shi Tian's body was riddled with countless small holes, like a sieve, and streams of blood gushed out wildly from the holes. Afterward, Shi Tian, who was screaming in agony, crashed to the ground with a boom and died a painful death. From the look of it, there was no chance he could survive. From Yi Chen's counterattack to piercing Shi Tian into a sieve, and finally dying painfully on the ground, it all happened within moments. The disciples from various sects who thought Yi Chen would die at the hands of Shi Tian hadn't even had the chance to react before they saw Yi Chen turn defeat into victory and strike down Shi Tian. The second disciple sent out by Zhou Yuntian was once again defeated by Yi Chen, even more miserably than the last one defeated. Jin Xianlai of the 9th level of True Qi fell with a single move, and Shi Tian of the 10th level of True Qi was thoroughly killed. All of this happened at the hands of Yi Chen, a 6th level of True Qi cultivator. This completely overturned the understanding of all the disciples at the sect entrance plaza. Not just them, even the sect leader and the 7 elders of the Qingyun sect were gaping at this moment. They never expected that Yi Chen would have a second, even more potent tactic beyond his sword intents, capable of piercing through Shi Tian. What shocked them even more was Yi Chen's composure and observational skills. Shi Tian's miserable defeat was due to Yi Chen deliberately showing weaknesses, luring Shi Tian into a reckless all-out attack, enabling Yi Chen's counter to pierce through his body. This meant that from the start, Yi Chen had a complete plan to defeat Shi Tian. Facing an opponent much stronger than himself, to remain so calm and composed, and even reveal flaws to trap the enemy. What level of cultivation genius, what level of combat monster was Yi Chen? The sect leader and the 7 elders of the Qingyun sect, who had only slight regrets about expelling Yi Chen, were now filled with intense remorse. Given Yi Chen's state of mind, there was a high possibility he would surpass them in the future if he continued to grow. They themselves, when at the 6th level of True Qi, didn't have even a 10th of Yi Chen's current strength. Not to mention killing a practitioner of the 10th level of True Qi, they would probably lose even fighting against a practitioner of the 9th level. Killing a practitioner of the 10th level of True Qi may not even be Yi Chen's limit. The sect leader and the 7 elders of the Qingyun sect even began to entertain this thought. Even now, they still didn't know the extent of Yi Chen's true strength, wondering if there was a third, or even a 4th tactic he had not yet revealed. After 2 great battles, Yi Chen still had not revealed all his cards. The sect leader and the 7 elders of the Qingyun sect were completely caught in regret, while Zhou Yuntian was now covered in goosebumps. Having sent 2 strong disciples who were both defeated by Yi Chen's performance had exceeded his expectations. Even during the moment Yi Chen killed Shi Tian, Zhou Yuntian flashed with the thought that if he allowed Yi Chen to continue to grow unchecked, he might very well be the next one to be slain like Shi Tian. Zhou Yuntian now felt an unparalleled sense of crisis. Facing Yi Chen, who continually employed an endless array of fiendish tactics, he dared not let Yi Chen continue to grow. I can't miss this opportunity to kill him. This Yi-chan is improving too quickly. Unbelievably fast. Just over a month ago, when faced with an ambush by Hire and the others, he had to constantly dodge, and only managed to kill Hire when Hire was alone. Now, he dares to come directly to this entrance plaza, facing opponents of the 9th and 10th levels of true Qi without any fear. If he were to cultivate for a few more months, I'm afraid that even I wouldn't be able to ensure his death. At this instant, the desire to kill Yi-chan surged once again in Zhou Yuntian's heart. Before, he had been looking for an opportunity to make a move, but now, Zhou Yuntian was unwilling to wait any longer. Kill Yi-chan. Now is the time. While countless disciples from various sects were still immersed in shock over Shi Tian's defeat, and the Qingyun sect's sect master and elders had their mouths gaping in regret, Zhou Yuntian, with a boom, vanished from where he was, and in the next moment, appeared in front of Yi-chan. He spread his large hand open, and with an outburst of infinite true Qi, 3 fist-sized balls of light, which seemed to burn the very air into nothingness, were hurled directly at Yi-chan with fierce intensity. Zhou Yuntian had made his move again. So you couldn't hold back any longer? While everyone failed to notice Zhou Yuntian's movement, Yi-chan had already seen through every action Zhou Yuntian made. From the very beginning, Yi-chan had never overlooked observing Zhou Yuntian. Even while he was clashing with Jin Xianlai and Shi Tian, he didn't show the slightest negligence. Regarding the greatest enemy in the field, he naturally wouldn't let his guard down. Now, as expected, the ever-vigilant Zhou Yuntian, harboring the intent to kill, finally made his move. In the instant Zhou Yuntian launched his attack, Yi-chan showed no reservation, using the wind movement skills, a movement technique he had never used during his fights with Jin Xianlai and Shi Tian. His speed soared to an unbelievable level, and within a blink, he dodged Zhou Yuntian's frontal attack. At the same time, the heaven and earth true Qi and Gang Yuan true Qi within Yi-chan's body whirled together. Instantly, more than 300 wind blade swords erupted around him, with each sword's lethality even surpassing the silver sword rain he had used to defeat Shi Tian previously. This was, in fact, a powerful technique Yi-chan had yet to use, the wind sword intent. Derived from high-grade mystical techniques and the wind thunder ambience refined by the master of the Thousand Lotus Cave abode, Chen Jizi, Yi-chan's wind sword intent was even more formidable than both the storm rain sword intent and the purple lightning sword intent. From Zhou Yuntian's attack to Yi-chan's evasion, followed by the counterattack with the wind blade swords, it all happened in the blink of an eye. By the time everyone on the field noticed the change in the situation, Yi-chan's array of wind blade swords had already furiously collided with the 3 balls of fire Zhou Yuntian had sent flying towards him. Boom! 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 The 3 balls of light, though only the size of a fist, burnt as fiercely as a scorching sun. Even a tiny spark that shot out landed on the already dead Shi Tian's body, instantly incinerating him to ashes. One could only imagine the astonishing power of these 3 balls of flame. Zhou Yuntian clearly had no intention of leaving Yi-chan a way out. His goal was to completely finish him off. If Yi-chan hadn't been constantly vigilant and reacted swiftly, he might have already been turned to ash. The onslaught of Yi-chan's wind blade swords, powerful enough to grind all the bluestone within a 50-meter radius into powder, just barely managed to extinguish the 3 balls of fire. Zhou Yuntian had not expected Yi-chan to be able to block his second assault. This time, he had not held back as he did with the previous attack. He had used his full strength, and still, Yi-chan had managed to evade it. Zhou Yuntian stood in the void, his bloodshot eyes fixed on Yi-chan, as he instantly readied himself for another strike. He had already perceived that, although Yi-chan had withstood his second move, he was at the end of his tether and would not be able to withstand another one. Just as Zhou Yuntian stood in the void preparing to strike again, Yi-chan also flew straight up into the sky, his brow furrowing in intense concentration. This was clearly the sign that he was about to use his ultimate technique, the Crimson Fire Flying Sword. Yi-chan. Lu Chan'er was the second to react to Zhou Yuntian's surprise attack. By the time she realized what was happening, Yi Chun had already exchanged a blow with Zhou Yuntian. Now they were directly facing each other. Lu Chon'er screamed and flew towards Yi Chun. At the same time, 2 silver bracelets on her left wrist flew out, transforming into 2 large rings several meters across. One enveloped her, and the other was sent flying towards Yi Chun. Zhou Yuntian, you're seeking death. As Lu Chon'er flew toward Yi Chun, and as Zhou Yuntian prepared to make another move, and just as Yi Chun was about to use the Crimson Fire flying sword, in the sky above the sect's main gate plaza, accompanied by a furious shout, a snow-bright escape light streaked across the sky with inconceivable speed, and in a flash, appeared right before Yi Chun. A girl with waterfall-like hair hanging to her waist and eyes as bright as stars, exuding exceptional beauty, revealed herself. The girl stood directly in front of Yi Chun, facing the mid-stage Spirit Sea Realm expert, Zhou Yuntian. This girl was none other than Zhang Yao, who had traveled from the Taishan sect over 1,000 miles to 10,000 Beasts Mountain in search of Yi Chun, and then rushed to the Qingyun sect. Zhou Yuntian could no longer contain his killing intent, and at that very moment, Zhang Yao finally arrived. Chapter 64, Battle of the Spirit Sea. Zhang Yao, sister. Lu Chon'er looked at the girl who had suddenly appeared and exclaimed with delight. Entrusted by Zhang Yao, she had come to assist Yi Chun, but Zhou Yuntian's sudden sneak attack had taken her by surprise, leaving her somewhat frightened. Luckily, Yi Chun reacted extremely fast, dodging Zhou Yuntian's recent move. If Yi Chun really had been harmed by Zhou Yuntian, Lu Chon'er wouldn't know how to face Zhang Yao. Now that Zhang Yao had personally arrived to protect Yi Chun, Lu Chon'er no longer feared. With her elder sister Zhang Yao here, she no longer worried that Yi Chun would be in any danger. Lu Chon'er understood the true strength of her senior sister Zhang Yao better than anyone else. She even withdrew the 2 silver bracelets she had previously activated and effortlessly stood beside Zhang Yao. Zhang Yao, seeing the girl who had flown over and landed directly in front of him, blocking Zhou Yuntian for him, Yi Chun felt a warmth in his heart. Ever since Lu Chon'er came from Taishan sect on Zhang Yao's behalf, Yi Chun knew how much he meant to Zhang Yao. Now, Zhang Yao had personally flown here, confronting the Spirit Sea Realm mid-stage powerhouse Zhou Yuntian face-to-face, obviously fearing he might be struck by Zhou Yuntian's sudden attack, and was here to protect him. He clearly understood the girl's intentions. Having someone come all this distance to protect you from all storms was truly a warm feeling. Senior sister Zhang Yao? On the sect entrance plaza, countless disciples, seeing the girl who had suddenly flown down from the sky to stand in front of Yi Chun, rubbed their eyes in disbelief. The long hair that swayed gently in the breeze, the exquisite and stunning beauty, the clear eyes as bright as stars, the graceful figure and the pure and holy demeanor. If not their highly revered senior sister Zhang Yao, who else could it be? Many of them had only seen pictures of Zhang Yao and were smitten. Now this girl, even more beautiful than any portrait, appearing before them, left their minds completely blank. Is this the Spirit Sea Realm powerhouse from Taishan sect, Zhang Yao? The girl hailed as the number 1 genius among the 36 sects? The Qingyun sect leader Luo Kuan and the 7 elders were also stunned by the girl standing in front of Yi Chun, but when they considered her identity, they became even more anxious. This was a Spirit Sea Realm powerhouse from Taishan sect. She really came here for Yi Chun. Clearly, the relationship between Yi Chun and her was not ordinary. At this moment, Zhou Yuntian's face was ashen. He hadn't expected Yi Chun to escape his sudden attack, and he certainly hadn't expected Zhang Yao, who was supposed to protect Yi Chun, to actually come in person. Zhang Yao, it seems that your relationship with this Yi Chun really is extraordinary. You're truly here to back him up to the end. A Spirit Sea Realm early-stage powerhouse. He would be much more troublesome to deal with than Yi Chun. Zhang Yao's gaze lingered on the ashen-faced Zhou Yuntian before turning back to Yi Chun. Once she saw Yi Chun, the worry and anger in the girl's eyes softened. As long as he was fine, everything was all right. As for the rest, let me handle it for him, just like he shielded me from the storm beneath the fiery waterfall on 10,000 Swords Mountain. Yi Chun, I know everything about your issue with Zhou Yuntian. Let me take care of the rest, is that okay? Zhang Yao asked gently, looking at Yi Chen. She worried that Yi Chen's pride would prevent him from letting her take action. If that were the case, it would make her very sad. Yi Chen looked at Zhang Yao, and from her eyes, he understood everything. Zhang Yao, I want to see your true strength now that you're no longer restrained by true qi, Yi Chen said with a smile and nodded. He wouldn't casually dismiss the intentions of the girl. There was no need for pretense and distance between them anymore. If Zhou Yuntian indeed could harm her, then it would be time to act. Yi Chen was absolutely confident that he could launch his flying sword before Zhang Yao got hurt. When Zhang Yao heard Yi Chen's words, her eyes suddenly lit up, and a captivating smile spread in her beautiful eyes. Yi Chen was willing to let her take action, making her long journey here truly worth it. Zhang Yao's delicate face broke into a slight smile. Yi Chen, leave it to me. Then, she turned around to face Zhou Yuntian. Her clear voice spread across the entire entrance plaza. Zhou Yuntian, as a Spirit Sea Realm powerhouse, you do not even abide by the rules of martial arts, capturing even Yi Chen's father and mother. Today, I, Zhang Yao, challenge you to a life-and-death battle to settle this vengeance once and for all. Do you dare to accept this fight? Zhang Yao had learned of the enmity between Yi Chen and Zhou Yuntian from the disciples of Heavenly Net sect in 10,000 Beasts Mountain. Knowing this, how could she let Yi Chen be threatened any longer? Might as well settle it all in one go. A life-and-death battle. As soon as Zhang Yao spoke, the entire plaza was shocked that she called for a life-and-death battle with Zhou Yuntian. A life-and-death battle meant that only one of the fighting parties could survive. Zhang Yao, for Yi Chen, was willing to gamble her life against Zhou Yuntian. They couldn't believe that the bond between Zhang Yao and Yi Chen was so strong that she would call for a life-and-death battle with a Spirit Sea Realm mid-stage powerhouse. For Yi Chen, it should be remembered that Zhang Yao was only at the Spirit Sea Realm early-stage cultivation level. Our senior sister Zhang Yao, the sect disciples, looking at the unrivaled beauty, then at Yi Chen, felt a complex mixture of emotions. Zhang Yao's words let everyone know the place Yi Chen held in her heart. Many disciples from various sects had bitter expressions on their faces. Zhang Yao was unafraid of death for Yi Chen. It was clear that her heart had no room for another. A life-and-death battle? Zhou Yuntian's bloodshot eyes gleamed. Do you think that just because you are from Taishin's sect, I would not dare to kill you? Whoever backs Yi Chen today will die, and you are no exception. A life-and-death battle, I accept. Facing the demonic talent that was Yi Chen, Zhou Yuntian's determination to kill was unwavering. Letting Yi Chen escape would be like releasing a tiger back into the mountains. Zhou Yuntian would not allow such a thing to happen, not even for Zhang Yao. As long as no high-ranking individual from Taishin's sect came, he didn't care. Zhang Yao, who had only entered the Spirit Sea Realm a year ago and was still in the early stages, was not yet enough to scare him off. Boom! Having spoken, Zhou Yuntian soared into the sky, ascending more than 100 meters. His blood-colored robe suddenly swirled, and a thick surge of astounding true qi flame rolled out from within him, a roaring blaze swirling around his body. Around him for tens of meters, the area had turned into a sea of fire. At the same time, Zhang Yao also leaped into the air with a light tap of her toes. Zhang Yao, standing in midair, had her hair, reaching down to her waist, fluttering in the wind. The true qi in her spirit sea also swept out, the surging green true qi wildly expanding and ascending, extending tens of meters around her as well. From afar, Zhou Yuntian in the void was enveloped in a vast fiery blaze of blood-red light. On the other side, Zhang Yao was surrounded by a surging dense green mist. The fiery blaze and the green mist enveloped the sky for hundreds of meters around where the two stood. Two Spirit Sea Realm experts faced each other from a distance. A battle of the Spirit Sea was about to erupt. Seeing the two Spirit Sea Realm powerhouses opposing each other in the void, the Qingyun sect's sect master and the seven elders all helplessly shook their heads and stepped aside. Now, although they were within Qingyun sect's territory, They could not afford to provoke either Jiang Yao or Zhou Yuntian. These two were set against each other for Yichun, and it was better to resolve this battle. Meanwhile, the sect disciples in the plaza were all holding their breaths as they watched Jiang Yao and Zhou Yuntian releasing their true qi in the void. This was a battle at the level of the Spirit Sea realm, something none of them had ever witnessed with their own eyes. The Spirit Sea realm. Indeed, after the transformation of the Spirit Sea from the Spirit Ocean, the quantity of true qi has undergone a qualitative improvement, allowing for the control of such vast true qi. Yichun looked at Jiang Yao and Zhou Yuntian in the void, watching the vast fiery blaze and dense green smoke that covered hundreds of meters around, feeling his blood stir with excitement. His cultivation of true qi was only at the 6th layer, still far from Jiang Yao and Zhou Yuntian. Although his swordsmanship comprehension was strong, he still had a long way to go in the realm of true qi. Stepping into the Spirit Sea realm, or even the rotating pill realm, the Heavenly Saint realm. Having enough strength to protect himself, to protect the ones he loved, to join hands with Jiang Yao, soaring through the heavens and exploring the vast skies. That was the life he desired. Now, he was still far from enough. Sister Jiang Yao, Lu Chan'er, standing beside Yichun, also lifted her little head to gaze at Jiang Yao in the sky. Just as everyone's eyes were fixed on the two in the sky, Zhou Yuntian, whose aura had reached its peak, made the first move. His blood robe fiercely waved, and dozens of fiery light orbs burst forth from him. Boom! 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 The moment these orbs of flames appeared, they swiftly streaked across the sky, heading straight for Jiang Yao. The terrifying temperature of the fire orbs even burned the air into nothingness. Those standing hundreds of meters away in the plaza could feel the formidable power of the fire orbs. Even when a spark hit the ground, a large area of the plaza's bluestone was scorched black. This frightened many to move even further away from the center of the battleground below. In the sky, in an instant, the skyful of fire orbs assaulted Jiang Yao's front. At this moment, Jiang Yao's snowy white wrist made a subtle move, and a several-foot-long ice ruler appeared in her slender hand. Wielding the ice ruler, Jiang Yao's delicate figure twirled and vanished from the void. In the next instant, endless ruler skills burst forth amidst the torrent of fire orbs. Slap! 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 Each streak of ruler light targeted a fire orb, and the skyful of ruler light directly struck at the skyful of fire orbs. Amid the countless explosions of true qi, the fire orbs that burned the air into nothingness were, in an instant, extinguished one by the endless ruler light. Not a single fire orb escaped unscathed in the entire sky. Jiang Yao's ice ruler skill was even more powerful than the flames that scorched the bluestone. Seeing Jiang Yao's move, Zhou Yuntian's eyes narrowed sharply, and in the next moment, he stretched out his skeletal hand, and a blood-colored bead the size of a fist burst forth. As soon as this blood bead was shot out, it split from 1 to 2, and then from 2 to 4. In an instant, it turned into countless blood beads that bombarded Jiang Yao once again. As the blood beads flew, their entire surface radiated with blood-colored light, and at the same time, infinite howling sounds emanated from them. This howling sound reverberated in all directions, causing many of the disciples with weaker true qi standing in the plaza to be knocked to the ground, bleeding from all 7 orifices. Clearly, the sound of howling from the blood beads held immense lethality. This was a more terrifying sonic killing attack. Chapter 65. Ice Phoenix, Bloodline Ignition. Sonic killing attack. Hurry and use your true qi to block your ears. Sect disciples with a slightly higher realm of true qi turned pale in an instant amidst the wailing of the blood beads. But they quickly reacted. Each of them was surrounded by diffusing true qi, forming protective qi shields around their bodies to guard themselves. At the same time, they also completely covered their ears with true qi, preventing the wailing sounds of the dispersing blood beads from thundering into their ears. Yichun, as soon as the endless wailing of the blood beads had started, moved like a whirlwind, vanishing in a flash. In a moment, he was in front of the young maid tower. With a sweep of his true qi, he brought tower back to where he had been standing. Then, A vast surge of true qi enveloped Tower, Lu Chan'er, and Yi Chun himself completely. Young master! It was only then that Tower saw many people on the sect's Grand Plaza collapsing to the ground, wailing in pain, bleeding from all orifices. Even those who were standing looked deathly pale. The little maid realized that her young master had shielded her from a terrifying attack. At this moment, both Yi Chun and Lu Chan'er looked towards the sky, and Tower involuntarily did the same. On the ground, the mere diffusion of the wailing of the blood beads brought about immense killing power. Jiang Yao was facing the attack of the blood beads head-on. The onslaught and wails of the blood beads she had to withstand were more than that of everyone below combined, greater and more numerous. Could she withstand it? Not only the trio of Yi Chun were concerned for Jiang Yao, but the other sect disciples, after blocking the sonic attack, also looked up, refocusing on the battle in the sky. They wanted to see how Jiang Yao would withstand this terrifying attack of the blood beads. As the blood beads bombarded the sky, and the boundless wails of the blood beads thundered, Jiang Yao, standing in the void, slowly closed her beautiful eyes. Her long eyelashes fluttered slightly, and then her slender fingers swiftly formed a spell gesture. The ice ruler that she had been holding in her hand vanished instantaneously. Jiang Yao herself was surrounded by vast cyan true qi that began to converge rapidly. In an instant, it formed an 80-meter-long giant cyan ruler illusion outside her body, into which Jiang Yao's delicate body slowly merged. Then, with a boom, Jiang Yao's eyes suddenly opened wide, and the giant cyan ruler illusion she had shaped erupted with a heaven-shattering radiance. The 80-meter-long colossal ruler illusion charged towards the blood beads in the sky. Bang! 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 Where the giant ruler shadow passed, the entire void shook. The crimson beads, wailing horrendously, exploded like they were electrocuted the moment they were swept by the giant ruler shadow. In the end, only a single blood bead remained, weakly shooting back towards Zhou Yuntian. However, the giant ruler shadow did not stop there and thundered towards Zhou Yuntian as well with a great sound. This ruler technique, it's completely a Xian rank superior technique that has reached the level of spirit god unity. Luo Kuan, the sect master of the Qingyun sect, and the 7 elders, witnessing the giant ruler shadow sweeping through the void, were all deeply shocked. The sect disciples couldn't discern the origin of Jiang Yao's moves, only sensing the powerful momentum that blasted countless blood beads in an instant, guessing the strength of the ruler shadow's attack. But Luo Kuan and the others, also cultivators of the spirit sea realm, could see that this killing technique was extraordinary. An attack method that reached spirit god unity was akin to a sword cultivator's sword intent, a strong concept that surpassed the technique itself. This Jiang Yao had also reached the level of comprehending such intent. In the sky, in an instant, the giant ruler shadow streaked through the void and struck in front of Zhou Yuntian. Zhou Yuntian, clearly aware of the horror of the giant ruler shadow, saw his blood eyes shining brightly. The rolling flames of fiery light engulfing his body also tumbled wildly. Finally, wrapped in the rolling flames, Zhou Yuntian collided furiously with Jiang Yao's giant ruler shadow. Boom! This collision made the whole Qingyun sect's Grand Plaza tremble. Terrifying waves of true qi swept the heavens, even destroying the buildings thousands of meters away. This was the destructive power of a battle between spirit sea realm cultivators. In the sky, the two massive true qi illusions that had collided head-on. On one side was a fiery light burning tens of meters high, and on the other side was an 80-meter-long cyan ruler shadow. In this explosive collision, the fiery light raged and grew in size, clearly showing that Zhou Yuntian, with his deeper cultivation realm, had unleashed even more overwhelming true qi power. On the other side, the giant cyan ruler shadow also started to stir with light, as various enchanting ruler techniques began to condense upon it. Then, the fiery light and the giant cyan ruler illusion clashed again in the sky. This round of clashes was not just a competition of true qi but also included endless techniques. The sky rang with constant booms of true qi explosions, and the two massive true qi figures, amidst the furious sounds of true qi blasts, had already exchanged over 100 blows. In the end, the terrifying fiery light and the giant Saiyan ruler shadow, with their dispersed tremendous true chi, had both lost much of their power. The two giant true chi figures, the Saiyan ruler shadow, had shrunk to about 50 meters long, while the roaring flames that spread dozens of meters in diameter also reduced to a range of about 50 to 60 meters. Jiang Yao and Zhou Yuntian's figures within the two energy spheres were faintly becoming visible. On the plaza in front of the gate, Yichun, Lu Chaner Tower, and all the disciples of the sect were staring intently at the two massive silhouettes of true chi in the void, not even blinking their eyes. They knew that the final battle was likely fast approaching. Boom! As anticipated, just as the two massive silhouettes of true chi had shrunk by nearly half, Zhou Yuntian, standing amidst rolling flames, burst forth with an infinite brilliance in his bloodshot eyes. Humph! A junior at the early stage of the Spirit Sea realm, he muttered to himself. To think you could push me to this extent despite being a whole minor realm below me is indeed impressive. Truly worthy of a disciple from the Taishan sect. But it all ends now. Muttering these words, Zhou Yuntian's blood robe suddenly radiated an endless scarlet light. Bathed in this blood light, Zhou Yuntian surged upwards into the sky once more, with the rolling flames surrounding him growing and soaring wildly. In the end, Zhou Yuntian, together with the rolling flames around him, even formed a giant blood-eyed fire tiger illusion in the sky that was over 100 zhang long. Roar! The blood-eyed fire tiger illusion roared towards the heavens, the tiger's roar shaking all directions as if a king of the forest stood proudly in the sky. This momentum was clearly even mightier and more colossal than all the force Zhou Yuntian had previously unleashed. The bloody-eyed Tiger King. Could it be? Zhou Yuntian. Has he actually obtained the essence blood of the bloody-eyed Tiger King? And can even summon the blood-eyed Tiger King's phantom? The bloody-eyed Tiger King is an existence on par with the rotating pill realm. The mere phantom alone is probably already at the level of the late Spirit Sea realm. How could Jiang Yao possibly withstand this? The sect master of Qingyun's sect, Luo Kuan, and the 7 elders, watching the 100 zhang-long giant blood-eyed fire tiger illusion in the sky, all cried out in shock. And Zhou Yuntian, who had condensed the blood-eyed fire tiger illusion, was diving crazily towards Jiang Yao with the colossal phantom and the boundless, burning flames. The terrifying flames turned the air they blasted through into nothingness, charging towards Jiang Yao with insurmountable ferocity. The 100 zhang-long blood-eyed fire tiger, roaring madly, shook all directions, a titanic inferno descending from the heavens, tearing through everything. The astonishing scene made the disciples watching from afar unconsciously step back several paces. All eyes were now fixated on the gargantuan tiger shadow that Zhou Yuntian had launched. Yichun, however, was looking towards Jiang Yao. In the sky, facing the 100 zhang-long giant blood-eyed fire tiger illusion that was furiously diving down, Jiang Yao stood in midair without the slightest hint of retreat. She tilted her head up slightly, gazing at the giant fire tiger illusion, and in her clear eyes, a mysterious ice-blue light slowly began to flicker. Is Jiang Yao about to use that move of hers? Yichen's heart hung tight. Jiang Yao had once told him about a mysterious technique she had. While Yichun watched Jiang Yao, and just as the giant blood-eyed fire tiger illusion was about to strike her, Jiang Yao, standing in the sky, also underwent a change. The hair that reached down to her waist began to grow wildly, and in an instant, each strand had grown several zhang long. The waist-long hair waved in the sky, each strand carrying flowing ice-blue light. A cascade of endless hair fluttering. Jiang Yao's body simultaneously emitted a clear ringing sound. Clang! Within this clear ring, a terrifying true chi burst forth from Jiang Yao's body to an extreme degree. This true chi flashed with ripples of ice-blue light. Amid the surging ice-blue brilliance, a similarly 100 zhang massive phantom appeared around Jiang Yao. This humongous phantom was an exceptionally mystical ice-blue phoenix illusion. The majestic ice phoenix illusion, filled with dignity and extraordinariness, seemed like the true king of heaven and earth, looking down upon everything. The blood-eyed fire tiger illusion, created through the Bloody-Eyed Tiger King by Zhou Yuntian, seemed to become ordinary in comparison to Zhang Yao's Ice Phoenix illusion. Ice Phoenix, bloodline ignited. That was the innate secret skill that coursed through Zhang Yao's bloodline, which she had shared with Yi Chen. As Zhou Yuntian produced his trump card, Zhang Yao finally unveiled her hidden technique, her innate secret skill. Chapter 66. Kill. In the moment when the wondrous Ice Phoenix illusion took shape, Zhang Yao, her boundless long hair flying like a waterfall, along with the grand Ice Phoenix illusion enveloping her, collided fiercely against the descending Blood-Eyed Fire Tiger illusion. Roar! The Blood-Eyed Fire Tiger illusion, carrying flames of terror that could incinerate everything, ignited a sea of fire that engulfed the heavens. Clang! The Ice Phoenix illusion shimmered with ice-cold radiance as endless frost burst from every divine feather, turning the expanse between the heavens into a world of heavy snowfall. Fire and snow clashed wildly, forcefully suppressing each other in an earth-shattering cacophony, as the entire sky was ablaze with a blinding light. All the spectators, even the few high-ranking experts of the Spirit Sea realm, struggled to keep their eyes open. Within the clamor of the tremendous explosions and blinding brilliance, the roars of the enormous tiger grew more tragic and startling by the moment, while the divine Ice Phoenix's clear cries that resonated through the heavens became louder and more piercing, echoing far and wide. When the dazzle of light reached its zenith and the sounds of explosions gradually faded, onlookers looked up to see that in the sky, where the two were clashing, Zhou Yuntian in the blood robe, along with the massive blood-eyed fire tiger illusion that had swirled around him, had vanished without a trace, leaving only a downpour of blood that rained over his entire body. In contrast, Zhang Yao still stood proudly in the sky, the grand Ice Phoenix illusion outside her body shimmering with a vast aura that fully enveloped the entire heavens. Even at the end, the immense Ice Phoenix illusion slowly solidified, and on each feather, endless divine patterns could be seen flowing and an infinite radiance bursting forth. From the aura of the two, it was clear that, in the recent clash, Zhang Yao had gained the upper hand. Zhang Yao, at the early stage of the Spirit Sea realm, actually managed to completely suppress Zhou Yuntian, who was in the mid-stage of the Spirit Sea realm. Zhang Yao's sister. On the Sect Plaza, Lu Chan'er looked up at Zhang Yao towering in the void, calling out with boundless surprise. Her sister Zhang Yao had never disappointed her, remaining as formidable and incredible as ever. As for Yi Chen, his eyes were also fixed on Zhang Yao, her long hair like a cascading waterfall and the immense Ice Phoenix illusion swirling around her, deeply etched into his heart. This was Zhang Yao. This was the girl who liked him and the girl he liked as well. Powerful. Incredibly powerful. The heir of Taishan sect, the foremost prodigy among the 36 sects, truly lives up to the reputation. At this moment, the sect master of Qingyun's sect and the 7 elders looked at each other and saw shock and awe in each other's eyes. They were relieved that they had not intervened after Zhang Yao appeared and had not ultimately supported Zhou Yuntian's side, because if they had, perhaps this miraculous girl, just like how she defeated Zhou Yuntian, would have defeated them all. They recognized the origin of the blood-eyed fire tiger illusion employed by Zhou Yuntian, but they could not identify the Ice Phoenix outside Zhang Yao and what kind of divine entity it was. Even without recognizing it, they knew it was clearly a more formidable and terrifying existence than the bloody-eyed Tiger King. In the skies above, Zhang Yao, looking at Zhou Yuntian covered in blood, bit her red lips tightly and uttered 3 words, "It ends now." She was determined to resolve this major trouble for Yi Chen, to free him from Zhou Yuntian's poisoning and threats. Now was the time to end it all. Whoosh! Zhang Yao stepped forward in the void, her long hair fluttering like a cascade, as she and the Grand Ice Phoenix illusion outside her charged at Zhou Yuntian once again. "No. Don't kill me. I am an elder of Heavenly Net Sect. If you kill me, they will surely seek revenge against you." The previously insurmountable Zhou Yuntian had burned all his true qi in the activation of the blood-eyed fire tiger illusion, releasing his full combat power. However, to his disbelief, in the final frenzied battle, he still ended up defeated by Zhang Yao. Moreover, the immense ice phoenix illusion that Zhang Yao had summoned instilled a profound fear deep in his soul. As the ice phoenix closed in once again, he trembled uncontrollably from his spirit to his body, a sensation of impending death enveloping his entire being. Zhou Yuntian, who had only ever killed others, was for the first time facing the approach of his own death. He screamed in a frenzy, fleeing desperately backward. But Zhang Yao's gaze did not waver for an instant. She had said that she would resolve this matter for Yi Chun, and she meant to keep her word. Zhou Yuntian had to die, an elder of Heavenly Net sect? He could not intimidate her. Boom! Zhang Yao, with a colossal ice phoenix avatar, charged towards Zhou Yuntian at a speed several times faster than his escape. She crashed into him fiercely. "Master, save me!" Seeing that Zhang Yao was mercilessly pursuing him, Zhou Yuntian's face turned ashen. He finally understood that just like Yi Chun, Zhang Yao harbored deep hatred for him and would not let him escape. In the final moment, Zhou Yuntian gritted his teeth and his hands revealed two Cyan Dao talismans. One of the talismans transformed into a gigantic Cyan shield with 100 zhang radius, which he drove towards the incoming colossal ice phoenix avatar. The other talisman turned into a streak of cyan smoke, shooting across the sky towards the direction of the Heavenly Net sect at an unimaginable speed. Boom! In an instant, Zhang Yao, along with the colossal ice phoenix avatar, brutally collided with the huge cyan shield. The thunderous collision shook the entire giant cyan shield, even causing cracks to surface on it. However, moments later, cyan light flowed across the giant shield and the cracks healed instantly, returning it to its flawless form. Eh? Zhang Yao glanced at the giant cyan shield blocking Zhou Yuntian's path, swiftly shifted her form, and directed the colossal ice phoenix avatar to continue its relentless assault against Zhou Yuntian. Zhou Yuntian once again manipulated the giant cyan shield, blocking the colossal ice phoenix's attacks. Boom! 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 The colossal ice phoenix avatar relentlessly struck while the 100 zhang shield withstood the terrifying onslaught. The battle in the sky had shifted from evenly matched to one side attacking and the other defending. It was clear to everyone that Zhang Yao had the upper hand, but the giant cyan shield that Zhou Yuntian deployed in the last moment protected him steadfastly, preventing Zhang Yao from landing the killing blow. Could this be a Dao talisman left by a rotating pill realm expert? The Qingyun sect master and the 7 elders speculated as they watched the cyan shield that could even block the colossal ice phoenix avatar. Yi Chun, however, noticed the other talisman that had flown away into the sky and, piecing it together with Zhou Yuntian's desperate cries for, "Master, save me," a thought crossed his mind. Could it be that Zhou Yuntian is seeking help from the master of the Heavenly Net sect? Zhou Yuntian was an elder of the Heavenly Net sect, and the master he mentioned was likely the sect master of the Heavenly Net sect. If another person intervened, allowing the ruthless Zhou Yuntian to escape, that would spell trouble. The thought of this possibility could no longer be endured by Yi Chun. As Zhang Yao gritted her teeth in the sky and the colossal ice phoenix avatar surged in size, charging once more at Zhou Yuntian's giant cyan shield, unnoticed by all, Yi Chun also made his move. A burst of crimson light flashed suddenly from the sword palace acupoint between his eyebrows. An incredibly fast sword-shaped seed shot out from his forehead. This tiny sword-shaped seed instantly became a palm-sized crimson flying sword, piercing through the air and directly aiming for Zhou Yuntian's back. Zhou Yuntian, who was maneuvering the giant cyan shield to fend off Zhang Yao's attack, suddenly sensed another breath of death closing in on him, causing every pore and acupoint in his body to tremble in shock. Then, as he turned his head, he saw an extremely bright crimson flying sword penetrating his skull. Boom! In an instant, the flying sword emerged from the other side of Zhou Yuntian's head. Then with a shake, the bloodstains on the sword were flung off. The flying sword turned and flew back to Yi Chun, shrinking rapidly before re-entering the sword palace acupoint between his eyebrows. The once arrogant Zhou Yuntian, in the moment the flying sword returned, his eyes wide with shock, plummeted from the sky. Thump! With a loud crash, Zhou Yuntian slammed into the ground, dead beyond any doubt. As he fell to the ground, the 100-zhong large Saiyan shield, still defending against Zhang Yao's attacks, lost its light and reverted to a Saiyan Dao talisman, floating gently down from the sky. Such a turn of events caught everyone by surprise, including Zhang Yao, who was engaged in combat with Zhou Yuntian. Is Zhou Yuntian dead? The Qingyun sect master and the 7 elders, witnessing Zhou Yuntian's body on the ground and his eyes that would not close in death, finally realized that the mighty Zhou Yuntian, who even claimed he would kill Yi Chen's entire family, had truly died. That sword light. They also took note of the flying sword light that killed Zhou Yuntian in the end. When they saw the flying sword light finally enter Yi Chen's brow, a shiver ran down their spines. Clearly, it was Yi Chen who took advantage of Zhou Yuntian's desperate struggle against Zhang Yao's ferocious attacks to seize the opportunity to kill Zhou Yuntian. Yi Chen had yet another hidden move that he had not yet revealed until this final moment. The sword shadow that instantly killed Zhou Yuntian made even them break out in a cold sweat. They still could not comprehend the technique Yi Chen had used. The Yi Chen they could not understand now possessed a more powerful method than just sword intense, and that silver sword rain. Chapter 67 The Sect Master of Heavenly Net Sect. Just after Yi Chen had slain Zhou Yuntian, the symbol smoke from the talisman that had flown towards the direction of the Heavenly Net sect had already entered the vicinity of a cave dwelling deep within the sect. At that moment, the door of the cave dwelling was tightly closed, while the talisman's symbol smoke hovered at the door of the cave, swaying in the air incessantly. After a short while, the door of the cave dwelling burst open, and the talisman's symbol smoke shot into the cave. Looking into the cave, one could see an old man with white hair and eyebrows, sporting a snow-white goatee, suddenly opening his eyes from a meditative pose. His eyes were fixed on the incoming symbol smoke from the talisman, his white eyebrows slightly furrowed. A Luo voice talisman? Is this the sound transmission talisman I gave to Yuntian? Didn't he go to Qingyun sect? Has someone from Qingyun sect actually forced him to use this talisman to contact me? With a pinch of his fingers, the old man captured the symbol smoke, slowly turning the talisman between them, his white eyebrows knitting more tightly. To think he was forced to use a Luo shield talisman to defend himself to this extent? Well, I shall make a trip to Qingyun sect myself. In the end, with a cold huff, the talisman in the old man's hand immediately combusted into green smoke, and the meditating elder vanished from the cave in an instant. The thunderous sound of Zhou Yuntian hitting the ground caused the Qingyun sect's sect master and the 7 elders to jolt in shock. They realized that Yi Chen had struck to kill Zhou Yuntian, but the disciples in the main square of the sect were utterly clueless about what had transpired. They only saw Zhou Yuntian, who had been furiously resisting Zhang Yao's attacks, suddenly plummet from the sky and land on the ground, motionless. In the end, a few bold disciples from the Heavenly Net sect approached, and when they saw Zhou Yuntian's wide-open eyes and the lifeless body, the disciples were visibly altered, shrieking, The elder, he died." The cries of these disciples set off more shrieking among all the sect disciples looking in the direction of Zhou Yuntian's fall. When they saw that Zhou Yuntian indeed lay still, they began to scream frantically. "He's dead. That Zhou Yuntian is really dead. How did he die? I didn't even see it clearly. A Spirit Sea Realm expert. Dead just like that?" Zhou Yuntian, a Mid-Spirit Sea Realm expert, had died right in front of their eyes. One can imagine the shock this brought them. "Yi Chen, was it you who killed Zhou Yuntian?" Lu Chan'er, standing by Yi Chen's side, had also observed the sword shadow that had shot towards Zhou Yuntian and then returned. She clearly saw that it was precisely that sword shadow that caused Zhou Yuntian to tumble from the sky and die without question. And that sword shadow had returned in the direction of Yi Chen, who stood beside her. Lu Chan'er looked incredulously at Yi Chen. She knew of Yi Chen's strength, but Yi Chen had actually managed to kill Zhou Yuntian instantly. The mysterious sword attack startled even Lu Chan'er. Yi Chen nodded and, smiling at Lu Chan'er, said, "Yes, Your sister Jiang Yao kept Zhou Yuntian busy, and I took advantage of his distraction to kill him. This matter is finally over. In the sky, Jiang Yao noticed the situation changing the moment Zhou Yuntian fell. The huge green shield dissipated, and the sword light returned to Yi Chen's position. When she saw the sword light re-enter Yi Chen's brow, Jiang Yao's beautiful eyes filled with panic. Could it be that Yi Chen, seeing my prolonged battle with Zhou Yuntian unable to finish, decided to launch a sword attack? It can't be that he forcibly initiated the life-bound damage of his sword. Could it? Jiang Yao's heart raced at the thought of Yi Chen initiating the life-bound damage, which would put his sword to sleep. If his sword were to sleep, Yi Chen would lose a significant source of strength, a consequence Jiang Yao could not accept. She would rather her own sword fall dormant, so that Yi Chen could remain safer. It can't be. I was already gaining the upper hand. Yi Chen wouldn't rashly trigger the life-bound damage of his sword. Jiang Yao, in turmoil, turned in the air and flew towards Yi Chen. As she moved, the great ice phoenix illusion circling her slowly sank into her body, and the several zhonglong blue silk trailing behind her gradually shrank as she flew. When Jiang Yao landed before Yi Chen, her long hair had returned to waist length. Yi Chen, are you all right? Jiang Yao's beautiful eyes stared intently at Yi Chen, her lovely face full of concern. Seeing the worry in Jiang Yao's eyes, Yi Chen understood what she feared. I'm fine, Jiang Yao. Thanks to you exhausting Zhou Yuntian's true qi earlier and him focusing entirely on warding off your attacks, I just used the sword's normal battle strength to kill him. I haven't even utilized the latter two combat powers, said Yi Chen with a smile, as he spoke to Jiang Yao. Hearing Yi Chen's words, Jiang Yao finally breathed a sigh of relief, completely at ease. She walked up to Yi Chen, her delicate hands softly grasping his. Yi Chen, looking at the heart-stirring girl before him, took her hand just as firmly in response. The battle with Zhou Yuntian was finally resolved with their mutual cooperation. It was only then that they both truly put this matter behind them. Seeing the intimate gestures between Jiang Yao and Yi Chen, Lu Chan'er and Tower, the two girls standing by, both blushed. How can those two be so excessive? Can't they see we are still here? Yet they're being so intimate. But they do seem quite well-matched. The two girls exchanged a glance, a hint of a smile flashing through their eyes. Especially the little maiden Tower, seeing her young master holding such a beautiful and powerful girl's hand in his palm filled her eyes with pride. My young master is becoming more and more impressive. At this time, within the crowd of disciples at the Sect Gate Plaza, a tall girl watched Yi Chen and Jiang Yao holding hands, her face filled with complex emotions. After sighing deeply, she turned around and walked towards the mountain peak where the outer sect disciples resided. Yi Chen. He has never been so intimate with me. This one must be the person he truly likes. Jiang Yao? She really is beautiful. She was willing to fight Zhou Yuntian to the death for Yi Chen. She likes Yi Chen more than I do. Only she truly deserves Yi Chen. This tall girl who turned and left, if not Lin Jing who had hurried from the outer disciples' mountain peak to the Sect Gate Plaza, who had once faced the Mirror Lake Serpent with Yi Chen at 10,000 Beasts Mountain. Then who? When Lin Jing arrived at the Sect Gate Plaza, she happened to see Jiang Yao descending from the skies, landing right in front of Yi Chen. Seeing this stunning girl who captivated her with her beauty, standing in front of Yi Chen, directly facing Zhou Yuntian, Lin Jing, who initially wanted to walk up to Yi Chen, unconsciously halted in her steps. Now, having seen Yi Chen and Jiang Yao holding hands, Lin Jing knew that her love affair, which had not yet started, was likely over before it began. Yi Chen, I won't forget you. Perhaps one day, when I'm as powerful as Jiang Yao, when I can protect you, I will come looking for you again. Muttering to herself, Lin Jing disappeared into the crowd. Due to Zhou Yuntian's death, the entire sect disciple area in the plaza was in an uproar. Yi Chen hadn't noticed Lin Jing walking away. After killing Zhou Yuntian, all his thoughts were on his parents. His parents, still captured within Qingyun's sect, their fate unknown. Let's go find father and mother. That Zhou Yuntian managed to send off a talisman just now. I'm afraid staying here any longer might lead to unexpected trouble. That's exactly why I made my move, taking him out while he was unprepared, to avoid any accidents. Yi Chun, holding Jiang Yao's hand, said to her softly. Yes. Jiang Yao nodded her little head, her delicate face turned towards Heavenly Net Sect. I also noticed the fleeing talisman just now, but I was too busy dealing with Zhou Yuntian to take care of that talisman. Let's go. Saving uncle and aunt is what's important. Yi Chun and Jiang Yao, hand in hand, began walking directly toward the sect leader of Qingyun sect and the 7 great elders. Yi Chen's parents had been taken by Qingyun sect, and these individuals surely knew where his parents were being detained. Young friend Yi Chun. Young friend Jiang Yao. Seeing Yi Chun and Jiang Yao approaching, sect leader Luo Kuan of Qingyun sect and the 7 great elders hurried forward to greet them. One of them with unfathomable skills, ultimately using a bizarre flying sword to kill Zhou Yuntian, and the other able to directly confront and wholly suppress Zhou Yuntian, who was at the mid-stage of the Spirit Sea realm from front on. With 2 such individuals, the sect leader and elders of Qingyun sect dared not show the slightest negligence. They even worried that their previous attitude towards Yi Chun might bring disaster upon them. Seeing the 2 approaching, Luo Kuan immediately thought of the purpose of their visit. He swiftly said to Yi Chun, Young friend Yi Chun, your parents are within the inner peaks of Qingyun sect. I will go bring the elders to you right now, so please don't worry. No sooner had the words left his mouth, sect leader Luo Kuan flew straight toward the inner peak. Yi Chun and Jiang Yao hadn't expected Luo Kuan to react so quickly. They exchanged a glance and then watched Luo Kuan flying away. Just as Luo Kuan reached halfway into the sky, his figure suddenly froze as if locked in place, unable to move a muscle in the air. Who is it? This shocking turn of events caused Luo Kuan, who was anxious to bring Yi Chen's parents to apologize, to change his expression dramatically. Luo Kuan's cry of alarm caused everyone who was looking at him, including Yi Chen, Jiang Yao, and the others, to look toward the sky. The 7 great elders and the disciples in the plaza also all looked up. At this moment, a ripple suddenly emanated from above Luo Kuan's head in the void, and amid the peculiar flux, the space seemed to tear open as an old man with white hair and white eyebrows slowly emerged from the void. As soon as the old man with white hair and white eyebrows appeared, his gaze swept in all directions. When he saw Zhou Yuntian lying on the ground, dead beyond doubt, the old man's expression changed abruptly. Have I still arrived too late? Who dares to kill an elder of Heavenly Net sect? The old man's eyes flashed sharply as he quickly surveyed numerous people, finally resting on Jiang Yao, who stood next to Yi Chun. Was it you, girl? When they recognized the old man's face, Luo Kuan in the sky, along with the 7 great elders on the ground, exclaimed in shock. Are you the sect master of Heavenly Net sect? Chapter 68, Shock and Retreat. The Heavenly Net sect is a 7th grade sect, and its sect leader is an early rotating pill realm powerful martial artist. The rotating pill realm surpasses the true Qi realm and the Spirit Sea realm as the 3rd major realm of martial arts cultivation. Those who reach the rotating pill realm possess great martial arts supernatural powers and dominate their territories, known as peak existence amongst warriors. Just by looking at the suddenly appearing white-haired elder, who could walk out of the torn void and confine Luo Kuan, a Spirit Sea realm expert, mid-air, one could tell this elder's realm was far beyond the Spirit Sea realm. Unexpectedly, he was the sect leader of the Heavenly Net sect, a significant figure in the early rotating pill realm. You do have some insight, indeed. I am the sect leader of the Heavenly Net sect, Luo Yazi. After a cold snort, the white-haired elder waved his sleeve, and Luo Kuan, who had been trapped in the sky, was directly flung down to the ground. Before I clarify the matter regarding my sect elder, none of you are permitted to leave. Luo Yazi's rolling voice echoed throughout the entire Mountain Gate Square. Heavenly Net sect leader, rotating pill realm expert. The disciples of the sects in Mountain Gate Square, especially those from the Heavenly Net sect, were somewhat relieved. This man was their sect leader. Although none of them had seen him in person, they surmised that this rotating pill realm figure wouldn't trouble them. As for the Qingyun sect disciples, they were all terrified. Their sect leader, Luo Kuan, had been easily cast down to Mountain Gate Square. If this mighty figure's wrath flared, they feared they might be obliterated in the blink of an eye. This fear left them unable to conceal their panic. Heavenly Net sect leader, Luo Yazi? Yichun raised his head to look at the white-haired elder in the sky, his heart also skipping a beat. When Zhou Yuntian released the sigil smoke signal before dying, Yichun knew that someone might intervene in this matter, and unexpectedly, it was the sect leader of the Heavenly Net sect who came personally. No wonder, when Zhou Yuntian shouted, "Sect leader, save me." By looking at Luo Yazi's demeanor, it was obvious he shared a deep connection with Zhou Yuntian. Moreover, the moment Luo Yazi appeared, he directly looked towards Zhang Yao. Clearly aware that Zhang Yao was related to Zhou Yuntian's death, Yichun tightened his grip on Zhang Yao's hand. No matter how powerful the arrival was, he would stand in front of Zhang Yao to ensure she wouldn't suffer the slightest harm. At this time, Zhang Yao's delicate face was also somewhat pale, and in her heart, just like Yichun, she was murmuring, "Early rotating pill realm. It seems, this matter has stirred up trouble again. No matter what, I cannot let Luo Yazi harm Yichun. If he truly strikes, then even if I risk damaging the ghostly water-flying sword that is bound to my life, I will confront him." Yichun is in the true Qi realm and can forcefully use his life-bound flying sword to fight against a Spirit Sea realm expert. And Zhang Yao's cultivation is at the Spirit Sea realm, so if she forcefully uses her life-bound flying sword, confronting a rotating pill realm expert might be possible. Therefore, although Zhang Yao's face was a bit nervous, she wasn't utterly resigned or ready to be slaughtered by Luo Yazi. As Yichun and Zhang Yao both were internally bracing themselves against the sect leader of the Heavenly Net sect, Luo Yazi in the sky looked towards Zhang Yao again. "I'm asking you, girl, did you kill my sect's elder, Zhou Yuntian?" When Zhou Yuntian sent out his distress signal, it was while he was in a fierce battle with Zhang Yao, so Luo Yazi's first suspect was Zhang Yao. "That Zhou Yuntian was killed by me." No sooner had Luo Yazi finished speaking than Yichun let go of Zhang Yao's hand and stepped forward. "Eh? You?" Luo Yazi gave Yichun a glance and snorted coldly. "A mere true Qi realm dares to claim to kill my sect elder? What a joke!" Yichun. Seeing Yichun step forward, Zhang Yao's face tensed up. She grabbed Yichun's hand and stood beside him. Raising her head to face Luo Yazi, Zhang Yao said, "That's right. I killed Zhou Yunta. He deserved his death." "What, because you're the sect leader of the Heavenly Net sect, you want to avenge him?" Seeing Zhang Yao's fearless expression, Luo Yazi sneered, "Whoever kills my sect elder must of course pay with their own blood. Both of you claim to be the killer of Yuntian. Who is it then? Do you mean for me to kill both of you?" Yichun and Zhang Yao exchanged glances, seeing the resolve in each other's eyes. Neither of them would abandon the other under the threat of Luo Yazi. "If you're going to attack, then attack." Yichun looked at Luo Yazi and spoke up. Young master, Sister Zhang Yao, Yichun." Behind Yichun and Zhang Yao, Tower and Lu Chaner, upon seeing the two of them confront the suddenly emerged sect master of Heavenly Net sect, became extremely anxious. Lu Chaner even took out 2 bracelets from her left wrist and stood shoulder to shoulder with Yichun and Zhang Yao. Good. I didn't expect you few to have such deep bonds. Rest assured, as long as it's related to Yuntian's death, none will escape. I really want to see how you insignificant characters manage to kill Yuntian." Luo Yazi's gaze swept around the area, and when he spotted the talisman that had fallen to the ground and could transform into a huge blue shield, he pointed his finger and a trace of energy condensed in the air. The drifting talisman immediately soared up and burst with a bang, transforming into a screen of light. Within the screen, the scene of Zhang Yao's previous battle with Zhou Yuntian emerged directly. Seeing Luo Yazi's seemingly magical method, everyone in the Mountain Gate Square looked up at the light screen, not expecting Luo Yazi to be able to make the events that had happened earlier reappear. When Luo Yazi saw the earth-shattering phoenix shadow striking the huge blue shield in the scene, his expression changed slightly. It's actually such a powerful bloodline. But when he saw at the end of the scene, a shocking beam of sword light shot directly from Yi Chen's glabella and instantly killed Zhou Yuntian. Luo Yazi's face changed dramatically. A flying sword. You can actually use a flying sword technique. It really was you who killed Yuntian. Luo Yazi recognized Yi Chen's flying sword technique at a glance, clearly aware of such a secretive and powerful method. When they heard that it was indeed Yi Chen who killed Zhou Yuntian, all the disciples of the sect on the Mountain Gate Square buzzed with noise. Even with a rotating pill realm powerhouse like Luo Yazi present, they couldn't suppress the shock in their hearts. Previously, they had not clearly seen how Zhou Yuntian died. Now, as Luo Yazi activated the light screen and the scene of the previous battle re-emerged, they noticed that it was Yi Chen who ultimately killed Zhou Yuntian. Yi Chen, a mere true Qi realm individual, had actually killed Zhou Yuntian, a spirit Sea realm mid-stage powerhouse. This was simply beyond their comprehension. In the end, as Zhou Yuntian fell dead to the ground and the huge blue shield in the light screen turned back into a talisman and fell, all the scenes from the recent battle in the light screen disappeared without a trace. After watching everything that had happened before, Luo Yazi's eyes were fixed on Yi Chen and Zhang Yao. The strength of this young man and woman had shocked even him, a rotating pill realm cultivator. However, thinking of the tragic state in which Zhou Yuntian had died, the killing intent in his eyes became unstoppable. Aside from their sect relationship, he and Zhou Yuntian were both sect master and elder, and had a very deep personal friendship. Otherwise, he wouldn't have specifically left 2 talismans for Zhou Yuntian to save his life. Yi Chen and Zhang Yao had killed Zhou Yuntian, and no matter what, he would not let them go. The 2 of you are both related to Yuntian's death. Since that's the case, both of you, be prepared to die. As Luo Yazi's voice thundered, he reached out his large hand towards the void, and 2 terrifying hurricanes spontaneously formed, wildly sweeping from heaven to earth, intending to completely grind Yi Chen and Zhang Yao to pieces within the storm. Yi Chen and Zhang Yao had both activated their life-bound flying swords at the same moment he moved, ready to have a final, desperate battle with Luo Yazi. And all the people on the sect square, those sect disciples and the sect master and elders of Qingyun's sect, watched the 3 figures in opposition between heaven and earth, not daring to even breathe loudly. Just then, a gentle sigh came from the sky. Ah! The affairs between juniors, Luo Yazi. Why must you interfere? This was a faint female voice. It was such a soft voice that made the 2 rampaging hurricanes in the heavens and earth stop in the void, instantly vanishing without a trace. It was such a soft voice that the flying swords within Yi Chen and Zhang Yao's glabella sword palaces, ready to explode, completely calmed down. When Luo Yazi in the sky heard this voice, his face changed dramatically as if he had seen a ghost, and he even shivered as he flew down from the sky, looking towards the heavens. And Zhang Yao beside Yi Chen, as well as Lu Chaner behind them, called out in surprise, "Master!" Amidst the surprised and happy voices of Zhang Yao and Lu Chaner, the void was torn open once again, and a woman wearing a snow-white palace dress, appearing about 26 or 27 years old, extremely beautiful, slowly walked out from the void. This woman had an ethereal countenance with an extraordinary purple pattern on her forehead that faintly revealed itself, adding an air of mystery. This purple pattern turned into purple lightning in a flash, then transformed into purple fire, and in another instant became ripples of purple water, unfathomably mystical. Seeing this woman, Luo Yazi, who had previously been indomitable, exclaimed, "Fairy Jia Luo, it really is you." Chapter 69, The Pact of the Great Mystery. If one were to mention the most feared existence among the 36 major sects in the eastern region of the Heavenly Wind Kingdom, no one would dare to claim the first place if Fairy Jia Luo ranked second. Fairy Jia Luo, the strongest cultivator among the 36 sects of the eastern region of the Heavenly Wind Kingdom, was a formidable figure in the midst of the rotating pill realm. Moreover, she was also the most likely candidate among the rotating pill realm experts in the entire Heavenly Wind Kingdom to ascend to the Heavenly Saint realm, according to widespread acclaim. Even those in the later stages of the rotating pill realm dared not easily provoke Fairy Jia Luo, let alone Luo Yazi, who was merely at the early stage. Legend has it that since stepping onto the path of martial arts, Fairy Jia Luo had never tasted defeat. A few years back, she even traveled to the ethereal peak in the central region of the barbaric wilderness continent to partake in the rotating pill realm swordfighting convention, securing the top position directly, stunning the entire cultivation world of the Heavenly Wind Kingdom. Such a character, each time Luo Yazi encountered her, he would pay utmost respect, not daring to offend her in the slightest. He had not anticipated that this affair concerning Zhou Yuntian would involve Fairy Jia Luo herself. Master? He recalled how Jiang Yao and another young girl had addressed Fairy Jia Luo when she appeared. If he had known earlier that Jiang Yao was a disciple of Fairy Jia Luo, he wouldn't have dared to lay a finger on her, even if he had 10 times the courage. Now, Luo Yazi deeply regretted coming to Qingyun's sect for the sake of Zhou Yuntian. He respectfully watched Fairy Jia Luo as she approached from the void, repeatedly bowing and begging for forgiveness. Fairy Jia Luo glanced at Luo Yazi and spoke indifferently, "Luo Yazi, I'm fully aware of the matter here, and the fault initially lies with Zhou Yuntian of your sect. He has perished, and justly so." Hearing Fairy Jia Luo mention the matter of Zhou Yuntian, Luo Yazi quickly responded, Yes. It was my lack of consideration. I was too reckless. I beg for the fairy's forgiveness." Fairy Jia Luo glanced at Luo Yazi. "You may leave. From now on, your Heavenly Net sect should no longer concern itself with Zhou Yuntian's matters. If you meddle again, I will personally visit the Heavenly Net sect and end your life." Fairy Jia Luo's words, faint as they were, struck Luo Yazi like a bolt from the blue. "I dare not. Luo Yazi dares not." Where would Luo Yazi dare to defy Fairy Jia Luo's wishes? After bowing to her, he flicked a finger and incinerated Zhou Yuntian's corpse on the ground into nothingness. Afterward, he no longer dared to linger. He bowed deeply to Jiang Yao and Yichan and, seeing that Fairy Jia Luo had no further expression, he turned into the void and vanished from sight. The rotating pill realm expert Luo Yazi, who had previously stood arrogantly in the void, dominating the airspace and casually flinging Qingyun sect's sect leader Luo Kuan to the ground, was now intimidated into such a state by Fairy Jia Luo. This made everyone in the plaza look at Fairy Jia Luo with both amazement and trepidation. From Luo Yazi's behavior, they realized even more the dreadfulness of this beautiful woman. All of them looked at Fairy Jia Luo, not even daring to breathe too loudly, including the sect leader of Qingyun sect and the 7 elders. Fairy Jia Luo. She is Jiang Yao's master, the mid-stage rotating pill realm powerful expert? Merely with her casual words, she could scare off another rotating pill realm expert. How powerful must she be? Yichun watched Fairy Jia Luo slowly walking towards his direction from the sky, a surge of passion welling up within him. This is the might of a mid-stage rotating pill realm supreme cultivator. To tear through the void, to have one's words manifest as law, to be where even the mightiest retreat. If Jiang Yao's battle in the Spirit Sea with Zhou Yuntian ignited Yichen's ardor to reach higher realms, then witnessing Fairy Jia Luo effortlessly intimidate another rotating pill realm expert solidified the heart of a true powerful warrior within him. Powerful warriors, dominating all directions. Powerful warriors, commanding thousands of realms. Powerful warriors, issuing orders throughout the world. Which warrior would not be moved by such authority, by such strength? Having experienced oppression in Qingyun sect in his previous life, having been hunted down by Zhou Hai and Zhou Yuntian, and having been considered expendable and expelled from the sect, Yichen's desire to become stronger grew even more. He yearned for the day when, like Fairy Jia Luo, he could invoke awe and retreat among the mighty without even taking action. He yearned even more for the day when he could surpass Fairy Jia Luo and become a truly towering figure. That is the ambition of a good man cultivated in martial arts, reaching for the peak. Just as Yichen's heart stirred with emotion, Fairy Jia Luo had already arrived in front of him and Jiang Yao. "Master!" Seeing Fairy Jia Luo coming, Jiang Yao and Lu Chaner excitedly grabbed her skirt and called out to her. Fairy Jialuo patted Jiang Yao's head and glanced at Lu Chaner, then smiled slightly. You two are quite daring, running off to Qingyun's sect, daring to confront even rotating Pill Realm practitioners. Had I not kept an eye on you, who knows what trouble you might have caused. Especially you, Yaoer. I allowed you to cultivate in the cave dwelling, and you, instead of telling me, just left. Fairy Jia Luo's voice contained no rebuke. Instead, there was a hint of doting within it. Jiang Yao glanced at Yichun beside her, her face turning slightly red. She softly said to Fairy Jia Luo, Master, this is Yichun, Jia Luo Sr. Hearing Jiang Yao suddenly mention his name to Fairy Jia Luo, Yichun quickly composed his turbulent emotions and respectfully greeted Fairy Jia Luo with a bow. Fairy Jia Luo was Jiang Yao's master. Moreover, she had just helped him resolve the big trouble with Luo Yazi. From every perspective, Yichun held an immense fondness for this Fairy Jia Luo. The gaze of Fairy Jia Luo finally fell upon Yichun. Her eyes examined Yichun for a long time without speaking. This made Jiang Yao and Lu Chaner, who were by the side, very anxious, especially Jiang Yao, whose delicate little face was filled with nervousness. Yichun's heart also thumped wildly, unsure of what Fairy Jia Luo intended with such scrutiny. After a long while, Fairy Jia Luo finally spoke. Not bad. Indeed a rare talent. The words of Fairy Jia Luo allowed Jiang Yao and Lu Chaner to breathe a sigh of relief and made Yichun smile wryly. This Fairy Jia Luo, the pressure of a strong person, really made one unconsciously feel fear. Yichun, I saw everything you did on the main gate square just before, she said. Your temperament, your bravery, your strength, and your responsibility. As of now, I am very satisfied with all of them, Fairy Jia Luo said lightly as she looked at Yichun. Hearing Fairy Jia Luo's praise for Yichun, Jiang Yao's face was filled with smiles, and her tiny dimples emerged happily. Fairy Jia Luo glanced at her most beloved disciple and shook her head helplessly. She continued, However, Yichun, if you want to be with my disciple Jiang Yao, your current strength is still far from enough. Master! Jiang Yao's face turned crimson at Fairy Jia Luo's words. She hadn't expected her usually dignified and serious master to bring up such matters directly. Yichun, on the other hand, was not embarrassed. He looked directly at Fairy Jia Luo and said, Senior Jia Luo, I will definitely work hard to further improve my strength. Further improving your strength isn't as simple as just saying it, Fairy Jia Luo said with a faint smile looking at Yichun. In 4 months and 7 days, on the day the Taishan flower blooms, will be the selection of Taishan sect's true disciples. Yichun, do you dare to participate in Taishan sect's true disciple selection? Master, you want Yichun to participate in the true disciple selection? Jiang Yao exclaimed in surprise upon hearing Fairy Jia Luo's words. True disciple selection? Yichun looked at Fairy Jia Luo, then at the somewhat excited Jiang Yao, unfamiliar with the selection of Taishan sect's true Qi disciples. Jiang Yao gently said to him, The true disciple selection is held once every 3 years, and only the most outstanding disciples from the outer sect of Taishan sect can participate. Once selected as a true disciple, one can join the various peaks of Taishan sect's inner sect and practice specifically within those peaks. Yichun, Chaner and I are true disciples of Taishan sect's Snowdrift Peak. I didn't expect that Master would make an exception and allow you also to participate in the true disciple selection. That's great. There has never been someone from outside Taishan sect directly participating in the true disciple selection. Yichun, you must agree. True disciple selection, joining Taishan sect? Jiang Yao's words also moved Yichun. Taishan sect was the leading sect among the 36 sects of the eastern domain of Heavenly Wind Kingdom, a place Yichun also longed for. Moreover, since Jiang Yao was also within Taishan sect, he naturally wished even more to join Taishan sect for his practice. I am willing to participate in the true disciple selection, Yichun said respectfully to Fairy Jia Luo. Fairy Jia Luo nodded. As Yaoer said, the selection of Taishan sect's true disciples has never allowed outsiders to participate. Since you are an exception, naturally, I have to set some rules for you. Please speak, senior, Yi-chan said solemnly. True disciple selection is for the most outstanding outer sect disciples of Taishan sect to participate, and there are many even among those who have reached the 12th layer of true qi. Though every selection, as long as one catches the eye of the peak masters of the inner sect, they can be chosen to join the peaks. But Yi-chan, if you do not place within the top 3 in the true disciple selection, I will not agree to your entry into Taishan sect. Do you dare to contend with the various powerful outer sect disciples of Taishan sect and seize one of the top 3 positions? Fairy Jia Luo asked, looking at Yi-chan. Chapter 70 Ancestral Land. Competing against the strongest of the outer sect warriors in the Taishan sect and seizing a top 3 position? Fairy Jia Luo's words left Yi-chan slightly taken aback. Lu Channer, who was by his side, was so shocked that she jumped up and exclaimed, Master, this requirement is far too harsh. Yi-chan has just turned 15, and he's only reached the 6th layer of the true Qi realm. Even if he is very skilled, he can't possibly surpass those disciples who have cultivated to the 12th layer of true Qi after many years. Top 100. Can't it just be the top 100? Yi-chan can definitely make it into the top 100. I didn't even make it to the top 100 back then. But didn't you, Master, still choose me and accept me into Snowdrift Peak? Lu Channer pleaded while tugging at Fairy Jia Luo's sleeves coquettishly. It was no wonder Lu Channer was astonished. The requirement set by Fairy Jia Luo was indeed too difficult. One must know that the Taishan sect was the foremost among the 36 sects in the eastern region, and its outer sect disciples were clearly stronger than those from the other 35 sections. There were many disciples with the 12th layer of true Qi. Asking Yi-chan to compete for the top 3 against all the outer sect disciples of the entire Taishan sect was exceedingly difficult for someone who had just reached the 6th layer of the true Qi realm. Even now, although Yi-chan could fight against 10th layer martial artists without losing, facing 11th layer or even 12th layer powerhouses, and Taishan sect disciples with even more techniques, the gap in realm was still too vast. Moreover, during the true disciple selection, lethal means like flying swords would not be allowed, which would greatly reduce Yi-chan's true combat power. Hearing Fairy Jia Luo's demands, Zhang Yao looked at Yi-chan, her concern evident. She had adventured through the Thousand Lotus Cave abode with Yi-chan and recognized his abilities more than anyone else. But she too was aware of the harshness of the requirement for Yi-chan. If Yi-chan had another 2 years to cultivate, Zhang Yao was absolutely confident that he would take first place in the true disciple selection of the Taishan sect. Just over 4 months to improve his strength significantly was still too short a time. Looking at her 2 disciples, one pulling her sleeves and begging, the other's delicate little face full of worry, Fairy Jia Luo shook her head helplessly. She turned to Yi-chan. Yi-chan, since my 2 disciples have pleaded on your behalf, I can relax the requirements for you. As long as you can take one of the top 30 spots in the true disciple selection, you can enter the Taishan sect. What do you say? Although Fairy Jia Luo had slightly eased her stance, it was clear she was not satisfied with this adjustment. Yi-chan was not someone accustomed to others making concessions for him. He knew that the initial requirement put forth by Fairy Jia Luo was already her bottom line. If he accepted a relaxed requirement because of Zhang Yao and Lu Channer, even if he managed to enter the Taishan sect through struggle, he might not gain Fairy Jia Luo's approval. Although only a little over 4 months were left for cultivation before competing with 12th layer true Qi powerhouses, the demand was extremely challenging. But for Yi-chan it was not impossible. Just over 4 months ago he was merely at the 1st layer of true Qi. During this time he had promoted himself to the 6th layer and could even defeat 10th layer powerhouses. In 4 months' time he might be able to defeat those at the 12th layer of true Qi as well. Pressure brings motivation, which leads to progress. Yi-chan could bear such pressure. Armed with the powerful divine art, primordial star scripture, the high-grade Shen-level cultivation techniques, wind-thunder sword skills, and wind-thunder movement technique, as well as his indomitable fighting spirit, Yi-chan had this confidence. Yi-chan glanced at Zhang Yao, and then at Fairy Jia Luo, drew a deep breath and said, Jia Luo, no need to change the condition. Since I am already a special case in the selection, I should abide by additional rules. If I do not take one of the top 3 spots in the true disciple selection in 4 months and 7 days, then I will admit defeat and not enter the Taishan sect. Having said that, Yichen looked at Zhang Yao seriously and stated, Zhang Yao, believe in me. In the true disciple selection, I will definitely seize one of the top 3 positions. Zhang Yao's clear and beautiful eyes met Yichen's gaze, and finally, the girl smiled and nodded, her little dimples rippling. Yichen, I believe in you. Good. Fairy Jia Luo nodded inwardly upon hearing Yi Chen's words. If Yi Chen lacked the courage to compete even before the selection had begun, she would be deeply disappointed in him. She certainly didn't want her most beloved disciple to end up with someone lacking ambition and courage. Fairy Jia Luo had witnessed Yi Chen's fierce battle with Zhou Yuntian's 2 disciples and his triumphant killing of Zhou Yuntian. She believed that Yi Chen could meet her demands. This is the selection token. Take good care of it. In a little over 4 months and 7 days, remember to be on time at the Taishan sect. Fairy Jia Luo flicked her fingers lightly, sending a bronze token flying towards Yi Chen. Yi Chen examined the token for a moment, then kept it close to his body. All right, Zhou Yuntian has been executed, and all matters here have been settled. Yaoer, Channer, let's return to the sect, Fairy Jia Luo said, not paying any more attention to the others on Mountain Gate Square, as she addressed Zhang Yao and Lu Channer. Zhang Yao glanced at Yi Chen, her delicate little face full of reluctance. Master, I haven't seen Yi Chen's parents yet. They are still imprisoned in the Qingyun sect. Fairy Jia Luo smiled. I had already surveyed this sect upon arriving at Qingyun sect. His parents are fine. Yaoer, you will see them in time. If Yi Chen cannot even pass the true disciple selection, then meeting now is meaningless. Let's go. After speaking, Fairy Jia Luo took one more look at Yi Chen, and then with a flourish of her sleeves, she took Zhang Yao and Lu Channer up into the air in flight. The divine marvel white eagle that had brought Lu Channer also followed and rose into the sky alongside them. Yi Chen, I'll be waiting for you at the Taishan sect. You must come. Zhang Yao turned back, looking down at the increasingly smaller figure of Yi Chen on the ground, and murmured in her heart. For months and 7 days later at the Taishan sect, on Mountain Gate Square, Yi Chen watched as Zhang Yao flew away, as well as Fairy Jia Luo and Lu Channer, clenching his fists. It wasn't until the figures of the 3 in the sky disappeared that Luo Kuan, the sect master of Qingyun sect, dared to approach Yi Chen. He looked at Yi Chen with caution and respectfully said, Yi Chen, let me take you to meet your parents. Father, mother. Thinking of the imminent reunion with his long-separated parents, the sorrow of his temporary parting from Zhang Yao faded slightly. He turned to look at the young girl Tower behind him. Let's go, Tower. We'll go together to meet father and mother. Tower excitedly jumped to Yi Chen's side. Yes, young master. Yi Chen and Tower headed to the inner peak of Qingyun sect to receive Yi Chen's parents. The disciples of the sect on Mountain Gate Square had not left for a long time, still reminiscing about the events that had taken place there earlier. Yi Chen's battle against 2 true Qi realm powerhouses, the Spirit Sea battle between Zhang Yao and Zhou Yuntian, and even the later arrival of 2 rotating Pill realm powerhouses. The events of this short day were a whirlwind of excitement, surpassing all the events they had witnessed in their 10 or 20 years of life. While these sect disciples were reluctant to leave, chatting in small groups, more than 1,000 miles away from Qingyun sect, in Yi Chen's hometown of Qingyang City, an event was unfolding. Speaking of Qingyang City, one must mention the 3 great families there, which include the Yi family, the Bai family, and the Chen family. These 3 families monopolized the various industries of the entire Qingyang City and were the undisputed giants of the city. Moreover, unlike other families in other cities who struggled over interests, the Yi, Bai, and Chen families, despite their frictions, had always been like branches of the same tree, even choosing to live together. Strangely enough, in the center of the continuous houses of these 3 families, there lay a piece of empty land approximately 10 acres in size. Any child of these families would know that this piece of land was considered forbidden territory, ancestral land by the 3 families. This plot of land was surrounded by powerful prohibitions, and no one was allowed to enter. Once someone entered the ancestral land, it could even trigger a direct attack from the prohibition. It was rumored that even Spirit Sea realm powerhouses would perish if they forcefully entered. For these three families, whose strongest cultivators were only at the 12th layer of the true Qi, possessing such an ancestral land was indeed very strange. Looking towards the ancestral land, one could see three statues standing at the periphery, and in the very center of the ancestral land, there stood a fourth statue. Standing outside this ancestral land, one could clearly see the appearances of the three outer statues, but the fourth statue in the center of the ancestral land was shrouded in a thin mist, making it impossible to discern its actual form. Apart from the four statues, there was nothing else within the ancestral land. On this day, the patriarchs of the Yi, Bai, and Chen families were all kneeling before the three outer statues. Not far behind the three patriarchs, quite a few members of the three families had gathered, watching their patriarchs and whispering among themselves. "It's been over a month. I didn't expect this ancestral worship to take so long. Usually, worshipping the ancestral land only takes one day. Taking so long could only mean that the ancestral statues have made a connection with the patriarchs." Made a connection? Does that mean that there's a possibility of opening the ancestral land? Could it be that after 300 years, there's once again a chance to open the ancestral land? No way. If the ancestral land really opens, that would be a huge fortune for our three families. According to our family records, the last time the ancestral land was opened, two ancestors from our families successfully obtained several secret treasures, and both broke through to the Spirit Sea realm after 10 years. Unfortunately, there's no pattern to the opening of the ancestral land. According to the records of our three families spanning over 1,200 years of inheritance, the ancestral land has only opened 5 times, and in over 300 years, it's only opened once. This time, that Elder Zhou Yuntian from Heavenly Net sect forcefully abducted members of our families and injured many martial artists among our ranks, making the three patriarchs feel both ashamed and angry. Since when have our three families ever been so humiliated by others? It's just that we descendants have been unfilial. Since the last Spirit Sea realm powerhouse in our family perished over 200 years ago, no one else has broken through to the Spirit Sea realm, weakening our family's strength over time. Hopefully, this time the ancestral land will truly open again, bringing another great fortune to our three families. As these comments buzzed among the crowd, an unusual movement suddenly came from the three statues that the patriarchs were facing. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In the midst of the movement, the three originally ordinary-looking pairs of eyes on the statues suddenly emitted a strange light. And at the same moment that the eyes on these three statues shone with this strange light, the eyes of the fourth statue in the center of the ancestral land also burst forth with endless divine light. Chapter 71. The Golden Monkey. The four statues, all 8 eyes radiated intensely at the same time. Such an extraordinary sight completely stunned everyone from the 3 tribes who were outside the ancestral land. Even the 3 tribal leaders, who were in the midst of worship, were jolted awake from their ritual. After more than a month, we finally progressed from vaguely sensing the statue's intentions of the 3 great ancestors to actually establishing a connection with the thoughts of the 3 great ancestor statues. The thoughts of the 3 great ancestors indicated that they would report to the revered Lord Dekong about opening the ancestral land for the 6th time. Could it be that Lord Dekong has agreed to open the ancestral land? All 3 tribal leaders' mouths fell open as they looked towards the center of the ancestral land. Could it really be that the ancestral land is about to be opened? Such a phenomenon is the one recorded in the clan annals for the opening of the ancestral land. The ancestral land is truly about to open. Boom! Amidst the incredulous exclamations of disbelief from the tribespeople from all 3 tribes, a 2-zhang-wide swirling vortex of darkness suddenly appeared on the empty ground behind the 4th statue in the center of the ancestral land. This vortex kept spinning, and nothing could be seen inside of it. Yet as soon as the vortex appeared, 30 black tokens flew out from within it. Whoosh! 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 The 30 black tokens landed precisely in front of the 3 tribal leaders, who were kneeling outside the forbidden area. Seeing the 30 black tokens, the 3 tribal leaders exchanged glances and then stood up with immense excitement. These are the entry tokens for the ancestral land. The ancestral land has truly opened. The voices of the 3 tribal leaders holding the 30 black tokens trembled with excitement. Then, remembering the rules for entering the ancestral land once it opened, the 3 leaders hastily instructed the tribespeople standing outside. The ancestral land is open. Only the tribespeople under 20 years old, holding these entry tokens, can venture into the ancestral land's secret realm to seek great fortune. Within a month, you must enter the ancestral land's secret realm, for the entrance to the secret realm will close after 1 month. Quickly send word to all the family members under 20. Everyone must return to the clan. With the opening of the ancestral land, the 3 tribes' end-of-year competition shall be held in advance. 10 days from now, the grand competition among the 3 tribes will officially take place. Anyone who can secure a place among the top 30 in this competition will qualify to enter the ancestral land. The excited voices of the 3 tribal leaders echoed outside the ancestral land for a long time. Upon hearing their chieftains personally announce the opening of the ancestral land, those outside tribespeople went wild with excitement. The opening of the ancestral land was a truly great opportunity for the 3 tribes. Should their younger generation gain great fortune within the ancestral land's secret realm, the rise of the 3 tribes once again would become a possibility. The people hurriedly ran outside, following the instructions of their chieftains, to spread the word to the younger generation of their families scattered around, ordering them all to return to the clan. For a time, Qingyang City was bustling with excitement. While the 3 tribes were bustling due to the opening of the ancestral land, through the dark vortex with a 2-zhang diameter at the center of the ancestral land, looking deeper into the vortex, one could see a vast expanse of heaven and earth hidden within the swirl. This great expanse of heaven and earth was the mysterious domain recorded in the millennium-long heritage of the 3 tribes, the ancestral land's secret realm. The ancestral land's secret realm consisted of 3 major areas: the outer perimeter, the mid-region, and the central core. At the very core of the ancestral land's secret realm was a vast lake surrounded by 9 towering peaks. All of the water within this vast lake was golden spiritual liquid, shimmering resplendently and radiating brilliant light. And now, just as the ancestral land opened, the golden spiritual liquid within the lake suddenly surged tumultuously. Amidst these turbulent waves, a palm-sized golden monkey leapt directly out of the spiritual liquid. This golden monkey, its entire body covered in luminous golden fur, was bathed in a flutter of golden light, so dazzling that it hurt to look directly at it. Its pair of eyes shone like 2 exquisite black gemstones, filled with an endless divine luster, and appeared extraordinarily spirited. Iya! The golden monkey that had jumped out of the golden lake seemed as if it had just been born. It blinked its large eyes and curiously surveyed the world around it. Whoosh! After taking a quick look around, the golden monkey leapt straight out of the lake, skimming the water's surface as it bolted towards the shore. Then, with a few bounds, it swiftly hopped onto the 9 towering mountains above. Eek! The little monkey lay on the giant peak, looking out at the world beyond. It even tried to run beyond the giant peak but was stopped by some mysterious force, unable to leave no matter what it tried. Squeak! The golden monkey pouted, then slid back on top of the giant peak. After frolicking in the midst of the peak for a while, it seemed to grow tired and hopped back onto the golden lake. Plop! As it jumped, the golden spiritual liquid in the lake rippled, splashing onto the little monkey, who joyfully cried out a few times before diving into the golden lake. The lake returned to calm. What, the ancestral land has opened? In the eastern territory of the Heavenly Wind Kingdom, inside a hut on one of the outer mountain peaks of the Taishan sect, the number 1 sect, a handsome young man in blue clothing, holding a letter in his hand, had a look of great excitement on his face. These past few years of arduous cultivation, I haven't returned home. The opening of the ancestral land, such an opportunity cannot be missed. It seems I must visit home. To enter the secret realm, one must place within the top 30 of the tri-family competition. Humph, 3 years ago at the competition, I Qian Ming claimed the first place. This time, the title of first place will still belong to no one but me. With first place, entering the ancestral land, I must seize the great fortune there. The young man in blue was brimming with confidence, and with a swoosh, his figure vanished from the hut. After more than 300 years, the ancestral land has opened again? I had thought it was just a fictional tale from the family records. I hadn't expected that there actually was such a thing as the ancestral land's secret realm. Grandfather said that I must participate in the tri-family competition first. Top 30 in the tri-family competition? That should be relatively easy for me. In the southern region of the Heavenly Wind Kingdom, within a sect blooming with peach blossoms, a young girl in white murmured to herself while reading a letter. The girl in white, dressed in pure, tight-fitting garments, had a graceful figure with pretty cheeks and long black hair tied into a ponytail, displaying a remarkable efficiency. If any disciple from the southern region of the Heavenly Wind Kingdom saw this sect surrounded by blooming peach blossoms, they would surely recognize it as the strongest sect in the southern region, the 6th-ranked Peach Blossom Valley. And this young girl in white was the famous celestial maiden of Peach Blossom Valley, Bai Xiaodai, who, at just 15 years old, had already reached the 11th layer of true qi. The ancestral land has opened? In 10 days, the tri-family competition will begin, and the top 30 will be able to enter the ancestral land's secret realm? Quick! I must return to the family, not just in powerful sects like the Taishan sect and the Peach Blossom Valley, but across various territories in the Heavenly Wind Kingdom. Disciples from the 3 families practicing in various sects received news of the opening of their family's ancestral land. These disciples, from all corners, hurried back to Qingyang City. An event as monumental as the opening of their family's ancestral land, which had lain dormant for over 300 years, was not something they would miss. While news of the ancestral land's opening stirred the younger generations of the Yi, Bai, and Chen families into action, on the official road outside Qizhou City, a carriage was slowly making its way toward the city. Inside the carriage sat 4 people. 2 appeared to be plainly dressed middle-aged folks in their 30s, the man with a broad face and slim build, the woman gentle and beautiful. The other 2 were a 15-year-old youth and a young girl about 12. Young master, after 3 days, we will finally arrive at Qizhou City. Once we're past Qizhou City, we'll reach Qingyang City, and we'll finally be returning to the family. The little girl, with her hair braided into 2 plaits and dressed like a maid, had lively eyes. This was none other than the Little Maid Tower. And who else could she be referring to as young master if not Yi Chun, who had left the Qingyun sect and was escorting his parents back to Qingyang City? Chapter 72. The Pride of Parents. Yes, after passing Qizhou City, and walking for half a day more, we'll be able to return to Qingyang City, back to our family clan. Hearing Tower's words, Yi Chun also felt a surge of emotion. His soul had fused with his previous incarnation, and he experienced all of his predecessors' memories as if they were his own. He, too, missed the family clan that he had left at the age of 12 and had not returned to for 3 years. In the past 2 years, because his cultivation had made no progress, remaining at the first level of true qi, he was too embarrassed to go back to the family clan, afraid of being gossiped about for achieving nothing and bringing shame to his parents. Now, Yi Chun had successfully cultivated to the 6th level of true qi, and his true combat strength even allowed him to overpower martial artists at the 10th level of true qi. At this moment, he possessed enough confidence to return to the family clan, enough confidence to make his parents proud of him. Dad, Mom, it's getting dark. Let's rest for the night in Qizhou City today. After a good rest, we should be able to make it back to the family clan by noon at the latest tomorrow. Yi Chun spoke to his parents seated at the back of the carriage. Chenner, it's fine to rest in Qizhou City, but let's not stay in an expensive inn again. You've already spent quite a bit of silver these past few days. We need to save some. Yi Chen's father, Yi Xiaotian, said. Yes, Chenner, listen to your dad. The 4 of us can just find a cheaper inn. We're all family. There's no need to be so fancy. Yi Chen's mother, Lin Rin, also spoke softly. After leaving the Qingyun sect, Yi-chan and his parents, along with Tower, hired a carriage to travel back to Qingyang City. Among the four of them, aside from Yi-chan, who was a cultivator, his father, Yi Xiaotian, mother, Lin Rin, and the young servant girl Tower were all ordinary mortals who had not opened their qi. Naturally, they could not endure the fatigue of travel. After nightfall, Yi-chun would find an inn for them to rest. His parents and Tower treated Yi-chun exceptionally well, so of course, he wouldn't let them suffer any discomfort. The inns they had stayed at these past few days were the best in the small towns they passed through, the finest rooms available. Naturally, this had cost quite a bit of silver. Yi-chen's parents had been taken to the Qingyun sect by Zhou Yuntian and didn't carry any silver coins with them, so all the expenses for the inn stays were covered by Yi-chan, which made his parents feel somewhat distressed. "Master! Madam!" Tower chuckled upon hearing Yi Xiaotian and Lin Rin. "The young master has money now. Spending on inns won't even put a dent in his silver. I've noticed that the young master still has a whole bunch of gold banknotes, at least several 100,000 taels." "Several 100,000 taels?" Tower's words shocked Yi Xiaotian and Lin Rin. "Chenner, how did you get so much silver?" The two of them managed the family's properties and only made about 40 to 50,000 silver coins a year. After expenses, they would save some of the money to send to Yi-chun for his cultivation. Even so, they could only save up about 10 to 20,000 silver coins to give to Yi-chun each year. Even if Yi-chun hadn't spent a single coin of silver over the past 2 years, there was no way he could have hundreds of thousands of silver coins. Tower's words were, of course, astoundingly surprising to Yi Xiaotian and Lin Rin. "Master, madam, this is what you don't understand." Tower's bright eyes looked at her young master, Yi-chun. "The young master is a martial artist now. I've heard that just by hunting a demon beast, a martial artist can earn several thousand taels, even tens of thousands of taels. With the young master being so powerful, having several 100,000 taels of silver is quite an easy feat." Tower's words left Yi-chen's parents both startled. They had heard that martial artists could earn money easily, but did not expect it to be so simple. No wonder everyone wants to cultivate martial arts. It seems that encouraging their child to practice martial arts was indeed the right choice. Seeing little Tower startling her parents with her acuteness, Yi-chun found it somewhat amusing at the bottom of his heart. Indeed, Tower had sharp eyes. As Tower said, martial artists often gain substantial silver coins by slaying demon beasts. However, the cultivation expenses of martial artists are also very high. The reason Yi-chun had so much silver on him was not because he had hunted demon beasts, but because he had obtained it from Zhou Hai. Originally, when he killed Zhou Hai, he not only obtained 2 spirit talismans from him but also a large roll of gold banknotes as an extra reward. His parents had been implicated because of Zhou Hai, and these gold banknotes were just perfect for allowing his parents to truly enjoy themselves. Yi-chun planned to treat his parents to good food and lodging on the way home in the next few days, and leave the remaining silver coins for his parents to spend in the family. He was already strong enough now. He no longer needed his parents to worry or save money on his behalf. Now was the time for him to filially care for his parents. Yi-chun didn't debunk Tower's words. After all, if he said that these gold banknotes came from Zhou Hai, he feared his parents would not feel comfortable spending them. "Dad, Mom, Tower is right. Your son is now a martial artist of the true Qi 6th layer. Even a true Qi 10th layer expert can't beat me. This small amount of silver is nothing," Yi-chan said with a laugh. "Later when we enter Qizhou City, we'll stay in the largest inn, eat the best food, and stay in the best room. Dad and Mom, go ahead and spend freely. You definitely can't finish it all." Hearing Yi-chen's words brimming with confidence, Yi Xiaotian and Lin Rin exchanged glances, with a hint of tears welling up in their eyes. When they were captured by Zhou Yuntian and taken to Qingyun sect, their greatest worry was not for themselves but for their son Yi-chan. They feared that their son would suffer endless torment facing those powerful figures capable of soaring through the skies and burrowing into the earth. However, their son Yi-chan not only successfully rescued them from Qingyun sect, but even the sect master of Qingyun sect personally saw them out with great respect. From the sect master of Qingyun sect's polite treatment of Yi-chan, They knew their son had changed. He could now hold up a piece of the sky on his own. Latterly, they even overheard Tower mentioning in whispers that even the most powerful figure in the eastern domain of Tianfeng Nation, the formidable being known as Gallofairy, held Yichun in high regard. Moreover, Gallofairy's disciple, Jiang Yao, the #1 talent of the 36 sects, also harbored deep affection for Yichun. This dissipated all of Yi Xiaotian and Lin Rin's worries, and they truly felt a sense of pride and relief. They were genuinely proud of their son Yichun. It was a feeling they had never experienced in their more than 30 years of striving in Qingyang City, the sense of pride their child gave them. Which parent doesn't wish for their child to be strong? Though reluctant to use their child's silver, when a child has enough strength to spend silver on their behalf, what parent wouldn't be immensely proud? All right. Yi Xiaotian and Lin Rin both dabbed at their eyes to stop the happy tears. Today, we will use Chunner silver to stay in the largest inn. Chapter 73 Stack Fight. Tianfeng Tower Inn. The largest inn in all of Qizhou City. Just from the inn's name, which contains the heavenly wind from the heavenly wind kingdom, one can tell the extraordinary nature of this place. Otherwise, in the martial-ruled heavenly wind kingdom, they wouldn't allow this inn to bear the name Heavenly Wind. The entire Tianfeng Tower Inn is a massive 7-story building, with glazed tile eaves and carved mahogany railings. Reaching a height of 30 to 40 meters, it looks spectacularly majestic. On both sides of the inn's entrance stand 2 giant stone lions, each over 5 meters long and 3 meters tall. They have fierce eyes and are roaring up at the sky. Now, as the night has fallen, giant luminous pearls hang in various places, lighting up the whole inn brightly. Meanwhile, Yichun is quietly cultivating in the highest room on the 7th floor, the Tian character room of Tianfeng Tower Inn. After entering Qizhou City, he and his parents, as well as Tower, came to stay at the Tianfeng Tower Inn. After dining in the most luxurious room, he directly rented out the 3 best Tian character rooms on the 7th floor. One for his parents, one for himself. Even the little girl Tower got her own room. The Tian character rooms, as expected, are the best rooms. By opening the doors and standing on the balcony, one can see the entire view of Qizhou City. The rooms themselves are extremely spacious and bright. On the desks in the rooms, 3 sticks of green sandalwood incense were burning. This green sandalwood incense is said to have originated from the pharmaceutically specialized 7th rank sect, the 100 Treasures sect, with profound benefits for nourishing the spirit and mind. Martial practitioners cultivating under this incense can easily enter a state of meditative unity with their minds and spirits. Even ordinary mortals, simply by smelling the green sandalwood incense, could reap great health benefits. If this incense were to be sold, Yichun would even be willing to spend a large sum of silver to buy some for his parents. Renting these 3 upscale rooms to allow his parents to sleep while inhaling green sandalwood incense was well worth the tens of thousands of taels of silver for Yichun. At this moment, Yichun was seated cross-legged on the ground, further comprehending the wind sword skills and wind movement skills through the winds concept. Among the martial techniques Yichun controlled, he had already achieved great success in the torrential rain sword skills and cross/fast kill sword technique. He had also fully mastered the essence of torrential rain sword intent, purple lightning sword intent, and wind's sword intent. Only the 2 mysterious top-grade techniques obtained from the Chenlian cave dwelling, wind thunder sword technique and wind thunder movement, had yet to be fully cultivated. What he began cultivating first were 2 sub-techniques of these techniques, the wind sword skills and the wind movement skills, and he had just barely brought these 2 sub-techniques to the beginning levels of proficiency. These 2 sub-techniques had also reached the level of mysterious low-rank techniques, their power far surpassing that of the yellow-rank techniques. By just cultivating the wind sword skills to the early stages, the power of Yichun's wind sword skills already far exceeded that of the torrential rain sword skills and cross/fast kill sword technique. The wind sword skills consist of 9 forms and, unlike the pursuit of speed in the torrential rain sword technique and cross/fast kill sword technique, in the wind sword skills there are various mysterious concepts of wind. The first form, Hurricane Fury, moves like a sweeping hurricane with the furious power of a heavy sword. And the second form, Breeze 13 Slashes, transitions from a heavy sword to a sinister light sword, with sword moves like a gentle breeze, invisible and incomprehensibly tricky. The third form, Wind Spiral Kill, is a rotating wind attack. The fourth form, Wind Strangle Kill, possesses a terrifying constricting power. Once mastered, it can even create a devastating constricting storm, shredding the opponent completely within it. There are also the fifth form, the sixth form, all the way up to the final ninth form. Of the full 9 forms of wind sword skills, Yi-Chin has merely begun to grasp the third form, Wind Spiral Kill, while he's still comprehending the fourth form, Wind Strangle Kill. Besides the wind sword skills being cultivated to early proficiency, Yi-Chin has also brought the movement technique, Wind Movement Skills, to the same initial level. With the early proficiency in the Wind Movement Skills technique, Yi-Chin's previous movement technique, Startling Goose Steps, has become somewhat redundant. Startling Goose Steps, this mid-grade yellow rank movement technique, is known for its speed. When cultivated to great success, it moves as swiftly as lightning, and as quickly as shooting rainbows, capable of instantaneously changing to 7 different positions. However, it's still just a mid-grade yellow rank movement technique. Compared to the more precious low-grade mysterious technique Wind Movement Skills, it's significantly inferior. Wind Movement Skills has 3 major effects. The first is its extremely fast speed. Once cultivated to great success, one can instantly switch 18 positions, moving like the wind, unpredictable. The second major effect is gasping flight. Startling Goose Steps relies on footwork to move about, with flight scarcely reaching 5 or 6 meters, whereas once Wind Movement Skills is cultivated to great success, gasping flight can span over 100 meters in one go, akin to a short burst of flight. The third great effect is Wind Movement Flurry. If cultivated to great success, it means one can fly upwards in the sky 9 times in succession without needing to catch one's breath, soaring over 100 meters into the sky. Combined with gasping flight, this is already a minor flying technique. Now, Yi-Chin has just cultivated this wind movement skills to early proficiency. He's already capable of instantly switching 9 positions, can gasp and fly over 50 meters away, and can continuously soar over 50 meters high with wind movement flurry. This has already pleasantly surprised Yi-Chin. He looks forward to the day when he'll cultivate these wind sword skills and wind movement skills to great success. By then, harnessing his internally cultivated heaven and earth true chi together with Gang Yuan true chi, combined with these 2 external martial skills, his combat power will take another significant leap. He might even truly experience the fleeting thrill of flying through the skies. Chapter 74. By then, he would be able to further comprehend the more powerful thunder skills within Wind Thunder Sword skills and Wind Thunder Movement. Yi-Chin was quietly meditating on the wind sword skills and the wind movement skills, when after an indeterminate length of time, a commotion from outside startled him out of his cultivation. Yi-Chin's consciousness swept outside, and when he saw the scene that unfolded, his expression darkened abruptly. At that moment, outside the room next to his father, mother, and Tower were being jostled by a large group of people, and even Tower had started to cry. Down below Tianfeng Tower Inn, quite a few onlookers were pointing and commenting, obviously watching the commotion happening on the 7th floor of the tower. What's going on? Yi-Chin hadn't expected that, after just a short while of deep cultivation, such an incident would occur outside. Seeing his father, mother, and Tower being surrounded and pushed by a crowd, he could no longer restrain himself. With a slap of his hand, the door to his room burst open. Using his wind movement skills, he instantly appeared on the outside corridor. Stop! Yi-Chin's loud cry of anger startled everyone standing on the corridor outside. At this time, Yi-Chin's father, Yi Xiaotian, and mother, Lin Rin, both saw Yi-Chin, and the little maid Tower even cried out, "Young master, these people are bullying us. They want to drive us out of our rooms." Drive out of the room? Such audacity! He had spent tens of thousands of silver taels to rent these rooms. Who dared to drive his father and mother out? Who dared to drive Tower out? Yi-Chin's cold gaze swept over the large group of people. They were a group of young people ranging from 17 to 26 years old, totaling 9 individuals, all of whom could be felt as cultivators from the aura they emitted. Among them, 3 had auras similar to Jin Xianlai, a martial artist he had previously fought against who was at the 9th level of true Qi. The remaining 6 were between the 7th and 8th levels of true Qi. Next to the 9 was an attendant of Tianfeng Tower Inn who was looking at Yichun and the 9 people with a face full of tears at the moment. What's going on? Yichun suppressed his anger and asked the attendant. The attendant hurriedly replied, "Young master, the inn is fully booked, and these 9 sirs wanted to stay in the best rooms, insisting on coming up to take a look." Upon seeing that young master's 3 family members were merely ordinary mortals, they started to drive them away forcefully, wanting to take over these 2 top-tier rooms. As the attendant spoke, a richly dressed young man moved swiftly, his palm striking the attendant's face in a flash, sending him flying 4 or 5 meters away. Were it not for the corridor railing, the slap might have sent the attendant plummeting down from the tower. The slap twisted the attendant's face, causing him to lose several teeth and bleed profusely from the mouth. The richly dressed young man glanced disdainfully at the attendant. "You dog, you sure have a quick mouth." Yichun watched the richly dressed young man with a cold look, grasping the situation from the attendant's words. So, these 9 came to snatch the rooms. Such unbridled arrogance. Truly an eye-opener for him. "What are you looking at?" After slapping the attendant, the richly dressed young man looked askance at Yichun. "Judging by your aura, you're a cultivator as well. Unfortunately, you seem to be only at the 5th or 6th level of true Qi. What got money? Renting 3 top-tier rooms like that? This is Tianfeng Tower Inn, where ordinary mortals and low-level martial artists like you deserve to stay in the best rooms. Get out of here at once, or I'll throw you down from this tower myself." The young man in the brocade next to him also spoke up, saying, "This Tianfeng Tower Inn is the property of our 100 Treasures sect, so don't expect the inn to back you up. If you know what's good for you, get lost now." 100 Treasures sect? So they are disciples of the 7 grade sect, the 100 Treasures sect. Among the onlookers below the pavilion, some, using the brilliantly shining luminous pearls hanging from the upper floors, scrutinized the 9 individuals. Someone who recognized the 9 people immediately called out, "Isn't that leading young man in brocade Elder Wang's grandson Wang Gong? No wonder he's so arrogant. I heard he's only 16 years old and has already cultivated to the 9th layer of true Qi. He even ranks in the top 10 among the outer sect of the 100 Treasures sect. And I was wondering how this Tianfeng Tower in doing business could have this kind of incident where someone is driven away. It turns out to be this Wang Guangyuan. Where would he give face to the inn? If he wants someone gone, the inn dares not provoke him. Alas, the young man's family upstairs is really unlucky. They had just managed to get a good room and now they're being kicked out. I told you, these kinds of rooms are not something people like us can afford to enjoy." The buzzing discussions from below made the young man in brocade increasingly smug. He looked at Yichun, who remained motionless, clenched his fist, and walked toward Yichun, saying, "What? I told you to scram. Are you deaf?" Boom! In an instant, he threw a punch at Yichun's face. Clearly, he intended to teach Yichun a harsh lesson just like the inn's server. "Chaner! Young master!" The brocaded youth's thunderous punch sent Yichun's parents' faces turning pale with shock, and the little girl tower also screamed out at the same time. Just when the brocaded youth's punch was about to reach Yichun's face, Yichun moved his wrist and caught the punch of the brocaded youth. After that, he twisted his wrist, and with a terrifying force of true Qi spiraling, the brocaded youth's entire arm crackled, and under this single twist from Yichun, his whole arm was completely twisted to pieces. Ah! The young man in brocade, when Yichun caught his fist, felt himself trapped by a giant force, unable to break free. Now, with Yichun's twist, all the bones in his arm broke, causing him to scream in agony. "Scram? Seems I'm really fated with the grandsons of elders from the 7 grade sects. Just killed the son of a 7 grade sect elder, and now another elder's grandson dares to provoke me." Yichun gripped the young man in brocade and swung him from the 2nd floor of the pavilion, hurling him straight toward the ground below. Just now, he clearly saw that it was this brocaded youth who had shoved his father. How could he let this youth go? The grandson of an elder? That's exactly who he would trample. Bang! The brocaded youth, forcefully thrown by Yi Chun from the 7th floor of the building, some 30 or 40 meters high, hit the ground hard below. His body's violent collision with the earth caused even the ground to shake. If it weren't for the brocaded youth's protection from his true chi, this fall could have easily killed him on the spot. The onlookers, seeing the brocaded youth suddenly being slammed to the ground by the young man from upstairs, stepped back 7 or 8 meters in fright. They looked at the knocked, unconscious brocaded youth, then back up at Yi Chun on the 2nd floor, and each felt a gasp of awe from the bottom of their hearts. He dared to strike so ruthlessly, even against Elder Wang's grandson who had announced his identity. Who was this young man, so fierce and tough? Chapter 75 Peacefulness. The onlookers at the base of the Heavenly Wind Tower were all stunned. And on the 7th floor of the inn, the other 8 individuals who had come with the brocaded youth Wang Guangyuan had a moment of dumbfoundedness. What was happening? Wasn't this youth at the 6th level of the true Qi realm? How could he suddenly break Wang Guangyuan's arm and leave him powerless, directly smashing him down from 30 to 40 meters high? Such combat power, even a master at the 10th level of the true Qi realm probably couldn't do it, right? Impossible. It must be that Guangyuan was careless. Take him down. Avenge Guangyuan. The remaining 8, along with the brocaded youth Wang Guangyuan, who were used to being arrogant and domineering at the 100 Treasures sect and in Qizhou City, were always the ones stepping on others. How could they tolerate being humiliated themselves? Looking at the brocaded youth who had been smashed from the 7th floor of the building to the ground, unconscious, they let out a loud roar and 5 of them pounced towards Yi Chun. Another 3 people even directly started to grab Yi Chen's parents and tower, intending to take Yi Chen's parents and tower hostage, to stop Yi Chun from acting rashly. Seeing the actions of these few, a cold gleam flashed in Yi Chen's eyes, seeking death. His parents and tower, who had been resting peacefully, were driven out of the room by these individuals. Now, in front of Yi Chen's eyes, they were even going to grab them directly. How could Yi Chun allow his parents and tower to suffer their humiliation again? Dare to make a move? Just cripple your hands. At the moment these individuals began to move, whoosh, 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 8 swords of true Qi instantly formed around Yi Chen's body. The moment these 8 swords of true Qi formed, they disappeared into thin air, and in the next instant, they were thrust at the 8 men's faces. This was none other than the wind sword intent combined with the second move of the wind sword skills. 13 wind strips. Yi Chen's attack, which could even strike down Shirtian, who was at the 10th level of True Qi realm, left the strongest 2 of these 8 individuals only at the 9th level of True Qi realm, and the other 6 were merely at the 7th or 8th level. Under the combination of Yi Chen's sword intent and the low-grade Shin level technique, how could they resist? The 8 men only felt an eerie sword light flash before their eyes, and they watched wide-eyed as their outstretched hands were severed in midair. Then, amidst the spurting of blood, an intense pain engulfed their entire bodies. My hand is gone. In that instant, the 8 realized that the hands flying in the air were their own. In that slash of the sword just now, their hands had been severed by Yi Chun. The 8 men, screaming madly, swiftly circulated their true Qi to stem the gushing blood, when a voice echoed in their ears. Dare to disturb my parents again, and next time it won't be as simple as losing a hand, but death. Get down, join Wang Guangyuan. Whoosh! The 8 men only felt an instant appearance of a silhouette before them, followed by an overwhelming force kicking towards them. Unable to defend themselves, the 8 were almost simultaneously kicked down from the 7th floor. Boom! 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 These 8 had never practiced the method of leveraging in midair at 30 to 40 meters high. They could only rely on their true Qi to protect themselves from being smashed to death. After a few breaths, all 8 crashed to the ground with loud thuds. Even the large blue stones on the ground were shattered by the impact. If it wasn't for a few of them using their true Qi to change direction at the last moment, they'd probably have landed on top of one another or even smashed the brocaded youth below to death. Even so, 3 of the 8 were instantly knocked unconscious by the shock, and the other 5 lay on the ground, screaming and groaning in pain. Looking at the 9 people piled up below, unconscious or shouting, the onlookers around the building all gaped in shock. Were these really the disciples of the 7th-ranked 100 Treasures sect that dominated Chijo City? 9 against 1, and they couldn't even get a hand on him? All of them were thrown down from the building. They could see that the young man above was completely overpowering the 9 men. If there were to be a real fight, the young man on top could instantly kill all 9 of them. A big shot. A big shot has come to Chijo City. With such strength, it must be a high hand at the 11th or 12th level of true Qi. Some martial arts practitioners stared at Yi-chan standing on the 7th floor, their eyes filled with deep fear. And the ordinary mortals watching the supernatural and extraordinary Yi-chan take on 9 alone were even more deeply moved. This is a true martial arts expert. Young master, you're amazing. At the top of the building, the young maid tower watched her household's young master Yi-chan, her eyes filled with admiration. She had witnessed her household's young master fighting 2 true Qi realm disciples at the Qingyun sect's main plaza. But it was one-on-one, and the scene didn't compare to the shock of him fending off 9 on her own. Chaner. Yi-chen's father Yi Xiaotian and mother Yi Yin, although they were surprised by their child's strength, were more concerned. Chaner, won't this cause trouble? Maybe we should hurry back tonight. Looking at his parents' worried faces, Yi-chen smiled. It's all right, father, mother. I will resolve this matter completely. Please go back to your room and rest. Having said this, Yi-chan spread his arms and leapt from the 7th floor, soaring out towards the ground below. Chapter 76. This Tianfeng Tower Inn, towering 3 to 4 stories high, was a place not many martial artists in the true Qi realm would dare to leap from directly above. Yet Yi-chan, like a rock spreading its wings, descended elegantly, landing instantly before the 9 fallen men, standing with poise. What a technique! Such an elegant flying technique. To leap down from a height of 3 or 4 stories. Could it be that he has mastered a Shen-grade flying technique? So young and he has mastered a Shen-grade flying technique. Could he be a disciple of a great sect, perhaps of the Taishan sect, which is a 6th-grade sect? The martial cultivators in the audience, watching Yi-chen's remarkably elegant technique, were all filled with envy. All of them had practiced flying techniques, but theirs could not reach the extent of leaping dozens of meters. This was indeed the level that could only be achieved with a legendary Shen-grade flying technique. These people were not mistaken. This was indeed Yi-chen's wind movement skills that he had cultivated to a minor level of accomplishment. Once the wind movement skills were perfected to a level of great accomplishment, even crossing 100 meters was possible, and although Yi-chen had just barely achieved minor accomplishment, he could already leap more than 50 meters. For him, leaping from the top of the Tianfeng Tower Inn, which was only 3 to 4 stories high, posed no difficulty at all. Standing before the 9 men, Yi-chen looked at the few who had not yet fainted and asked nonchalantly, "Are you disciples of the 100 Treasures sect, a 7th-grade sect?" These men had already been stunned by Yi-chen's mysterious swordsmanship and his descent from the heavens, and upon hearing his inquiry, they nodded vigorously. "Yes, we are disciples of the 100 Treasures sect. Brother, we had no idea you were so powerful. We shouldn't have provoked you. Please, don't kill us." Yi-chen's actions had been decisive and ruthless, something they had perceived profoundly. Now facing Yi-chen, they didn't dare to even breathe too loudly, afraid of provoking him and being killed on the spot, which would leave them with no tears left to cry. "I hear that among you, there's a grandson of one of your sect elders? I will be staying right here in this inn. If he wants to seek revenge for his grandson, let him come. However, you can pass this item to him and see if he has the courage to show up." As Yi-chen spoke, he directly took out a copper-colored law token. The few 100 Treasures sect disciples who were not unconscious glanced at the copper-colored law token and saw the big characters, Taishan, true successor, inscribed on it. "Taishan, are you truly a disciple of the Taishan sect from the 6th-grade sects? Is this the true successor selection law token?" As disciples of a 7th-grade sect, They knew more about the Taishan sect than the disciples from an 8th grade sect would. The copper law token in Yichen's hand was the one they had heard that only the talented disciples who could participate in the Taishan sect's true successor selection would receive. Those who possessed this token were inevitably genius disciples of the Taishan sect, each possibly esteemed by the peak masters within the sect. How could they dare to provoke such individuals? Even their own elders, if they truly provoked someone esteemed by an internal peak master of the Taishan sect and incurred their displeasure, would bring about a great disaster. At that moment, the disciples who had previously thought about going back to Elder Wang to have him take revenge for them didn't dare utter another word. Yichun gave them a glance and put away the law token. Gathering his chi, he leaped straight towards the 7th floor of Tianfeng Tower Inn, and in the blink of an eye he was back on the 7th floor. This kind of movement skill once again caused the crowd below to surge with excitement. Looking at his father, mother, and Tower, who were still on the corridor and hadn't entered their room, Yichun smiled and said, "Dad, Mom, Tower, go get some rest. This token was given to me by Fairy Jialuo, so I don't think those people from 100 Treasures sect will dare to come again." Fairy Jialuo? Is she the one Tower spoke of, the most powerful fairy in the eastern region of Heavenly Wind Kingdom? Hearing Yichun mention Fairy Jialuo and observing the few people below who were as silent as cicadas in winter, Yichen's parents truly felt at ease and returned to the room with Tower. Yichen watched as his parents calmed down and couldn't help shaking his head with a wry smile. He had shown the selection token because he wanted to reassure his parents. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't have slept well all night because of this matter. As for Elder Wang from the 100 Treasures sect, Yichun wasn't too worried about him. He had only given Wang Guangyuan a small punishment and hadn't killed him like he did Zhou Hai. Would that Elder Wang really engage in a life-or-death struggle with him? Even if it came to that, Yichun still had his trump card, the flying sword Crimson Fire. If it really came down to the wire, it would be Elder Wang's misfortune. Sigh, the strength at the true Qi realm is still far from enough. Every time I have to rely on Crimson Fire as my trump card. It looks like I need to further increase my strength. Whether it's Zhou Yuntian, who is already dead, or Elder Wang, who I don't know if he will come to kill me, or the selection of true disciples in Taishan sect in just over 4 months. Facing all these challenges requires strong power to ensure my safety. Tonight, I'll stay outside to guard my parents. Yichun stood at the highest 7th floor of Tianfeng Tower Inn, watching as the crowd of onlookers below gradually dispersed, as several disciples from 100 Treasures sect supported each other and walked away, and then he looked up at the night sky over Qizhou City, his mind gradually calming down. In the end, he moved his body and flew to the highest point of Heavenly Wind Tower, where he sat down cross-legged. The night was tranquil, and the thoughts of Yichun grew even more serene. Whether it was the token from the selection that truly frightened those disciples from 100 Treasures sect, or if it scared Elder Wang never showed up. In fact, no one from 100 Treasures sect did. But Yichun still didn't return to his room. Maybe it was after the succession of tests in Qianlian Cave Mansion, the battle with Qingyun sect, and the sudden calm after the infight. The night wind caressed Yichun, who was sitting cross-legged on the pinnacle of Heavenly Wind Tower, and he gradually closed his eyes, entering into a wonderful state of oblivion. In this amazing state, countless streams of heaven and earth's true qi from several miles around Tianfeng Tower Inn, with Yichun at the center, surged towards him. There was no wild roaring rush of true qi like before, but rather as silent and nurturing as a soft rain, under the cover of the tranquil night and the infusion of countless streams of heaven and earth's true qi. The vortex of true qi within Yichen's sea of qi once again underwent qualitative change and increased in size. Yichun had officially entered the 7th layer of true qi realm. When the first light of dawn shone upon Tianfeng Tower Inn, Yichun opened his eyes. He gazed at Qizhou City under the morning glow, smiled faintly, and then flew back directly to the 7th floor corridor. Not long after, when he heard sounds of his father, mother, and Tower's room as they began to rise early, Yichun looked towards Qingyang City. Today, after half a day's journey, we will be able to return home. Chapter 77. Ancestral Land and Clan Competition. After breakfast, Yi-chan left the Heavenly Wind Tower Inn with his father, mother, and tower, and continued on their way to Qingyang City. In the carriage, the young maid Tower's expressive eyes kept sizing up Yi-chan until finally, she couldn't help but speak up, "Young master, you seem a little different today." "What's different?" Yi-chan asked with a smile, looking at Tower. It feels like you have a more commanding presence and more of the aura of a martial cultivator." Tower struggled to describe it, then turned to Yi Xiaotian and Lin Rin and asked, "Master, madam, don't you think so?" Yi Xiaotian and Lin Rin both nodded. "Yes, Chenner. It feels like you have changed again after just one night." After one night of quiet cultivation, Yi-chan had successfully broken through to the 7th layer of the True Qi realm, completing half of the entire 12 layers of the True Qi realm, and officially entering the second half of cultivation in the True Qi realm. True Qi Layer 7 was not only about having one more True Qi vortex in the Qi Sea compared to Layer 6, but the bigger change was that, after reaching Layer 7, due to the quantity of True Qi in the 7 True Qi vortices within the Qi Sea, a qualitative leap had been made from the early stage to the latter stage, and Yi-chen's skin radiated with a faint aura of True Qi naturally circling to protect his body. This change in the aura of a martial artist was certainly noticeable to his parents and Tower. Yi-chan, of course, would not hide this from his family and said with a smile, "Dad, Mom, Tower, last night, I successfully broke through to the 7th layer of the True Qi realm." "True Qi Layer 7? Young master, weren't you at Layer 6 of the True Qi realm just a few days ago? You've already cultivated to Layer 7? Tower's mouth fell open in astonishment. Every time she saw her young master these days, she was constantly shocked. Even at True Qi Layer 6, he could defeat experts of the 9th and 10th layers, and yesterday, effortlessly subdued 9 opponents all by himself. Now, her young master had broken through once more, reaching True Qi Layer 7. The little maid could no longer comprehend just how formidable her young master had become. "Chenner, is your strength now greater than those from our clan who have cultivated for over a decade?" Lin Rin's eyes also contained joy upon hearing that Yi-chen's level had risen again. Her child becoming more powerful filled her with immense pride. Those martial artists from the clan? Yi-chen thought about how his family was one of the 3 major families in Qingyang City, alongside the Bai family and the Chen family, with the strongest cultivator in his family being the 3 clan leaders at the 12th layer of the True Qi realm, and most others being below the 10th layer. Unlike sect cultivators, family martial artists did not have access to many cultivation techniques and generally practiced yellow-class martial skills of middling to lower quality. Yi-chan, on the other hand, had not only cultivated several yellow-class martial skills of middling quality, but he also achieved minor accomplishment in 2 profound class skills, wind sword skills and wind movement skills, mastered 3 sword intents, and cultivated Gang Yuan True Qi with the primordial star scripture. Indeed, his power now far surpassed that of most martial artists in his clan. "I should be able to defeat most of them," Yi-chan replied to his mother with a smile. He was now setting his sights not on the martial artists of his clan, but on proving himself against the Taishan sect's outer sect geniuses in the true disciple selection in 4 months. Surpassing those disciples of the True Qi 12th layer in the Taishan sect and securing one of the top 3 spots in the true disciple selection to enter the Taishan sect was a must for Yi-chan. At present, he had some way to go to reach that goal. However, having smoothly advanced to True Qi Layer 7, Yi-chan was one step closer to that goal, and with 4 months to go, he was confident he could achieve it. Good. My Channer, you really make your parents proud. Even us ordinary mortals have managed to raise a powerful martial artist. And now, the martial artists of our clan will probably be shocked." Yi-chen's father, Yi Xiaotian, was filled with pride and laughed heartily. The 4 of them chatted as they made their way to Qingyang City. After a little over 2 hours, they finally arrived within the city walls of Qingyang City. "We've arrived at Qingyang City. We're back to the family. The master and madam have returned safely, and the young master has returned too." Upon entering Qingyang City, the little maid Tower called out with immense excitement. Yi-chan also looked outside the carriage at Qingyang City. It hadn't changed much from his memory. The same familiar streets, the same familiar sights. This was the place where he had lived for 12 years, his hometown. He had finally returned. When he left his hometown, he was just a 12-year-old boy at the first layer of the True Chi realm. Now, 3 years later, he had cultivated to True Chi Layer 7 and mastered extremely powerful martial skills, making him one of the top figures in the city. With increased power came a broader perspective. Yi Chen's feelings upon returning home were completely different from when he had left. After entering the city, the carriage headed towards the residential area of the 3 major families. Why does it feel like there are a lot more people in the family area? So many young people have returned. Isn't it not yet the end of the year? Why have those cultivating outside returned? The closer they got to the residential area of the 3 major families, the more people they encountered on the street, and Yi Chen's parents, Yi Xiaotian and Lin Rin, noted the anomaly in the family area and wondered aloud. Yes, the family area seems much busier than usual. The little maid tower also noticed the change. Yi Chen looked outside, where young members of the 3 great families could intermittently be seen walking along the streets of the family district. Has something happened with the family? Yi Chen and his companions were unaware of the opening of the ancestral land, as they had been traveling back to their clan all these days and had not yet received the news of the ancestral land opening or the advance of the tri-clan competition. Is that Xiaodong Yun? At this moment, as Yi Chen was surveying the outdoors, he suddenly caught sight of 2 familiar figures. These 2 figures were 2 teenagers about the same age as Yi Chen, who were currently walking outside while talking to each other. Recognizing the 2 youths, Yi Chen immediately knew who they were. One was called by Xiaodong and the other Chen Yun. Before he had left the family, Yi Chen used to hang out with them every day. Xiaodong, Yun. Yi Chen opened the carriage curtain and called out directly to the 2 of them. Turning their heads, the 2 boys looked towards the carriage following the sound of his voice. When they saw Yi Chen's face on the carriage, both teenagers rubbed their eyes in disbelief. Yi Chen, is it really you? You're back. Bai Xiaodong and Chen Yun ran straight towards Yi Chen. Yi Chen also had the carriage stop, jumped out, and met with the 2 youths. Yi Chen, I heard from my mother that you stirred up big trouble, and even your uncle and aunt were captured by a Spirit Sea realm expert. Are you all okay? Bai Xiaodong hurriedly asked as soon as he reached Yi Chen. We're fine. My dad and mom have come back this time. Yi Chen pointed to the carriage, where his father Yi Xiaotian and mother Lin Rin were lifting the carriage curtain and peering out at the group. Seeing Bai Xiaodong and Chen Yun looking over, they smiled and greeted the 2 youths. As Chen Yun was about to speak, he suddenly noticed Yi Chen's aura and said in surprise, Yi Chen, you've cultivated to the 7th level of True Chi. True Chi 7th level? Bai Xiaodong also jumped in shock. The 3 of them used to hang out together frequently because they were similar in age and almost equal in all aspects of their cultivation talent. Before the age of 12, none of them had opened their Qi-Si acupoint. It was in the year they turned 12 that all 3 of them successively opened their Qi-Si acupoint and entered into the sects. Yi Chen was admitted into the Qingyun sect, an 8th rank sect, while Bai Xiaodong and Chen Yun each entered the 8th rank Taigang sect and 10,000 Swords sect, respectively. 3 years had passed, and Bai Xiaodong and Chen Yun were now at the 4th and 5th levels of True Qi, which they considered quite good. However, they did not expect that their friend Yi Chen would now possess such a strong aura, strikingly reaching the 7th level of True Qi. True Qi 7th level? Yi Chen smiled, nodded, and said, Yes, I've finally cultivated to the 7th level of True Qi. Yi Chen, you really cultivated to the 7th level of True Qi. Hearing Yi Chen's confirmation, Bai Xiaodong and Chen Yun jumped up excitedly. It's only been 3 years since we've seen each other, and you've improved so much. True Qi 7th level among our family's younger generation, that would rank towards the top. Yi Chen, you might even snatch a spot in the top 30 of the clan competition and get into the ancestral land. Yi Chen, did you come back this time because you received the news of the family's ancestral land opening and specifically returned to take part in the tri-clan competition? Bai Xiaodong and Chen Yun chatted back and forth, leaving Yi Chen with no chance to interject. However, their words left Yi Chen startled. The Ancestral Land Opening? The Tri-Clan Competition? As a member of one of the three great families, Yi-chun certainly knew of the Ancestral Land. When he was a child, he had sneaked near the Ancestral Land with Bai Xiaodong and Shen Yun. Afterward, their parents severely scolded them, forbidding them from recklessly nearing the Ancestral Land again. The Ancestral Land, the most mysterious and forbidden area where the three great families performed their ancestral sacrifices, left a deep impression on Yi-chun. He knew even more that the opening of the Ancestral Land was a legend among the three great families. It was said to have been opened hundreds of years ago, and Yi-chun had thought the opening was just a jest among the ancestors. He never expected that the Ancestral Land could truly be opened. This time it had opened. About the Tri-Clan competition mentioned by the others, Yi-chun was much more familiar. As a child, he would watch the older youths in his family battle in the competition every year-end, which was one of the most anticipated events of his childhood. After he started his training in the Qingyun sect, he feared returning to take part in the year-end competition, worried about being ridiculed if his realm was too low. This kept him from returning to his family for 3 years. Unexpectedly, not only had the Ancestral Land opened this time, but the year-end Tri-Clan competition had also been brought forward. Yi-chun, you don't know about the Ancestral Land opening? The news was spread a few days ago. The younger generation of the family is all rushing back, and many have already returned. Seeing Yi-chun's expression, Bai Xiaodong was somewhat surprised. I just left the Qingyun sect a few days ago, and I've been on the road since then. I haven't received any news. Now Yi-chun finally understood why the family seemed busier than before upon his return, and why there were so many more youths. It turned out to be because of the news of the Ancestral Land opening that many had hurried back from their outside cultivation. Xiaodong, Yun, tell me all about the news of the Ancestral Land opening, Yi-chun said to the two. Yi-chun was naturally very interested in the news of the Ancestral Land opening, a place he remembered so vividly. Chapter 78. The Grand Competition begins. Bai Xiaodong and Shen Yun nodded, each taking turns speaking. The three-family competition was moved up because during the ancestral worship, the Ancestral Land accidentally opened. After the Ancestral Land opened, it is said that 30 pass tokens flew out from within the land. Family members of the three families who are under 20 and possess these tokens will be able to enter into the secret realm within the Ancestral Land to seek great fortunes and creations. The three family heads announced that the competition would be held in advance. Those who place in the top 30 in the competition will receive a pass token to enter the Ancestral Land. Yi-chun, it is said that entering the Ancestral Land, one might obtain a secret treasure, and perhaps even gain a great chance to step into the Spirit Sea realm in the future. For so many years, no one from our three families has managed to step into the Spirit Sea realm. This opening of the Ancestral Land is a major opportunity for our family. The family heads and the elders value it immensely, which is why they moved the family competition up to select candidates for the Ancestral Land. The three-family competition will take place in 6 days. We too may not have the strength to break into the top 30. We are just returning to watch the excitement. Yi-chun, with your true chi at the 7th layer, you might have a chance to try and break into the top 30. When the time comes, if you really can enter the Ancestral Land, remember to tell us all about it. Never thought we'd encounter the opening of the Ancestral Land in our lifetime. I really don't know what's inside the Ancestral Land. Talking about the Ancestral Land, the faces of Bai Xiaodong and Shen Yun were filled with longing. The words of Bai Xiaodong and Shen Yun made Yi-chun understand the arrangement of the three families. The opening of the Ancestral Land offered only 30 spots for entry, and these 30 candidates would be selected through the three-family competition. Once someone places in the top 30 of the competition, they could enter the Ancestral Land. This arrangement seemed quite fair. The stronger the strength, the greater the possibility of gaining fortunes and creations in the Ancestral Land. So naturally, the family would want to choose those with stronger abilities to enter. Those descendants who had rushed back to the family from various places were either coming back to watch the big spectacle or to participate in the three-family competition, striving for a chance to enter the Ancestral Land. Secret Realm of the Ancestral Land. Yi-chun repeated these 4 words in his mind. As a child, he had heard that their 3 families had once saved an injured figure of great significance. After recovering, as a token of gratitude, this figure bestowed upon the 3 families a secret realm within the ancestral land. Inside this secret realm were great trials, opportunities, and creations. Only those among the 3 families could enter and seek these fortunes, which was essentially the repayment from that significant figure. According to clan records, the ancestral land had opened 5 times in the past, and each time, those who entered the secret realm acquired precious treasures that significantly enhanced their strengths, even allowing the birth of Spirit Sea realm powerhouses within the 3 major families due to the opportunities provided by the ancestral land. As the years passed and the 3 families declined, the ancestral land had not opened for hundreds of years. Now, to his surprise, Yi-chun was facing the 6th opening of the ancestral land. As a descendant of the 3 families, it is natural to enter and see for myself what the ancestral land that opens once every few hundred years is like. Who knows? I might be able to find some fortune inside, just like our ancestors, and enhance my strength once again. For the upcoming 3-family competition, I'll seize one of the spots for entry. Yi-chun made up his mind to participate in the 3-family competition to earn the right to enter and explore the secret realm of the ancestral land. In 4 months, Yi-chun was scheduled to go to the Taishan sect to participate in the selection for true disciples. Right now, he was in dire need of improving his strength. Encountering the rare opening of the ancestral land, of course, he had to participate. Not only would he participate, but he was also determined to acquire fortunes and further enhance his power. Yi-chun, what do you think? Are you confident about making it into the top 30 of the 3-family competition? After speaking about the opening of the ancestral land, Bai Xiaodong turned to Yi-chun and asked, "Yeah, Yi-chun, among us 3 you have the highest cultivation level. We can only rely on you to explore the ancestral land. We too don't have much hope." Chen Yun also looked at Yi-chun. Yi-chun looked at Bai Xiaodong and Chen Yun, nodding with a smile. The top 30 of the 3-family competition? No problem. Seeing Yi-chun confidently assert there was no problem, Bai Xiaodong and Chen Yun were both taken aback. "Ha, Yi-chun, you sure are a lot more confident than before. That's good. In 6 days, we'll participate in the 3-family competition together." The 2 were not very sure about Yi-chun's chances of getting into the top 30 of the family competition, but since Yi-chun was so confident, they were naturally very happy. What they didn't know was that Yi-chun's current strength was so formidable that not only was he likely to be in the top 30 of the family competition, but even the first position was highly probable. After parting ways with Bai Xiaodong and Chen Yun, Yi-chun continued towards home with his parents and Tower. Yi-chun's parents and Tower, upon hearing about the 3-family competition and the opening of the ancestral land from Yi-chun himself, were also highly anticipating the event that was to take place in 6 days. Especially knowing that Yi-chun was going to participate in the 3-family competition, the 3 of them couldn't wait for that day to arrive, to witness Yi-chun's performance in the family competition. They were aware of Yi-chun's current strength, and had no doubt whatsoever that he could rank in the top 30 of the family competition. What they were curious about was how high Yi-chun would rank in the 3-family competition. As soon as they got home, Yi-chun immediately immersed himself in cultivation. He cultivated Gang Yuan True Qi internally, while externally he practiced the 2 profound grade martial arts, wind sword skills, and wind movement skills. While cultivating, he awaited the arrival of the grand competition between the 3 clans. The safe return of Yi-chun's parents also caused a great stir within the entire Yi family clan. The Yi family's elderly patriarch personally inquired how they managed to escape the clutches of that Spirit Sea realm individual. When he learned that the Spirit Sea realm's Zhou Yuntian had died, and that his affairs were connected to Fairy Jialuo, a supreme being from the eastern domain of the Heavenly Wind Kingdom, the old patriarch was shocked for half a day. Hearing from Yi-chun's parents about how strong Yi-chun had become, and even Fairy Jialuo's high regard for Yi-chun, the old patriarch longed to meet with that young lad Yi-chun, whom he hadn't seen in several years. It was only after learning that Yi-chun was preparing for the family competition that he put aside the thought of summoning him. Just see during the family competition how powerful that young lad Yi Chun really is. Over these years, the strength of our Yi family has gradually been surpassed by the Bai family and the Chen family. The Bai family has a talented girl, Bai Xiaodai, who is now at the 11th layer of the True Qi realm, and there is Chen Ming from the Chen family, also at True Qi 11. Our Yi family's most powerful youth is only at True Qi 9. I hope that young lad Yi Chun can bring us a surprise. If it's like Xiao Tian and Lin Rin said, perhaps Yi Chun can contend with Bai Xiaodai and Chen Ming. The old patriarch also began to look forward to the family competition 6 days later. During Yi Chen's cultivation, as countless people awaited the arrival of the grand competition between the 3 clans, the days passed by, one after one. 3 days before the competition, the majority of the 3 clans' external members had already returned. 2 days before the competition, Chen Ming, the strongest of the Chen family, returned from the Taishin sect, and after more than half a day, the talented girl Bai Xiaodai from the Bai family was personally delivered back by a Spirit Sea Realm senior sister from Peach Blossom Valley, the foremost sect of the Heavenly Wind Kingdom's southern region, causing a major stir in her family. On the last day before the grand competition, aside from a few family youth who were journeying outside and unable to return, all young members of the 3 clans had returned to their families. Among these people, the young ones with prominent reputations all returned. Everyone was waiting for the day of the grand competition between the 3 clans. And as the sun rose again after setting, the most important day for the 3 clans, the day of the grand competition, finally arrived. Early that day, Yi Chun was roused by Xiaodong and Chen Yun. Yi Chen's father, Xiao Tian, his mother, Lin Rin, and the young girl Tower, had all washed up early and were ready to head to the martial arts plaza to watch the competition. When they arrived at the plaza, it was already crowded with people. Nearly all the members of the 3 clans had gathered there. The plaza was packed with no fewer than 10,000 people. Countless individuals looked forward with great anticipation to the official start of the competition. In the crowd, various young ones set to participate in the competition were excitedly warming up, ready to enter the fray. Yi Chun, look, that's Bai Xiaodai. Having not seen her for years, she's become even prettier. When Yi Chen, Bai Xiaodong, and Chen Yun squeezed into the crowd of competitors, Chen Yun immediately noticed a girl standing out like a crane among chickens. The girl was dressed in a bright yellow athletic outfit, her figure alluring, with a pretty face and jet-black hair that reached her waist tied into a ponytail, giving her a neat and valiant appearance. She was Bai Xiaodai, the most conspicuous young girl from the Bai family's younger generation. Bai Xiaodai. Yi Chun looked at the girl, recalling scenes from his childhood embedded in his merged memories. In those days, he, along with Bai Xiaodong and Chen Yun, would train daily at the martial arts plaza to strengthen their bodies and refine their energies in preparation to open their Qi Si acupoint. Back then, the person they most enjoyed watching was Bai Xiaodai, who practiced earnestly every day. It wasn't just them. Many young members of the 3 clans loved watching Bai Xiaodai practice. On one hand, Bai Xiaodai was extremely talented from a young age, opening her Qi Si acupoint at 8 and quickly becoming the fastest learner in the 3 clans' younger generation on the plaza before joining the foremost Peach Blossom Valley sect in the southern region of the Heavenly Wind Kingdom. On the other hand, Bai Xiaodia's beautiful face and status as the granddaughter of the Bai family patriarch naturally drew the attention of countless young boys. Now, seeing Bai Xiaodai again, Yi Chun, unlike Chen Yun and Bai Xiaodong, wasn't looking at her on account of her beauty. While Bai Xiaodai was indeed extraordinarily beautiful, she was slightly less so compared to Zhang Yao. Yi Chun just thought back to the past with a faint smile. In the crowd, Bai Xiaodai, the object of many young boys' attention, wasn't paying attention to anyone else. She was waiting quietly, waiting for the competition to start. Someone like Bai Xiaodai who attracted so much attention, as well as others from the younger generation like Chen Ming, with True Qi at the 11th and 10th layers, were potential candidates for champions in the grand competition and naturally drew attention. Compared to them, Yi Chun and his companions such as Bai Xiaodong and Chen Yun hardly got noticed. Just as the young participants and the onlooking crowd from the 3 families were eagerly anticipating the start of the competition, 3 figures flew directly to the high platform of the martial arts plaza. These figures were the patriarchs of the Yi, Bai, and Qian families. The arrival of the 3 patriarchs excited everyone on the martial arts plaza. They knew that the grand competition between the 3 clans was about to begin. Chapter 79, Ancestral Blood. As soon as they arrived at the high platform of the martial arts plaza, the gaze of the 3 clan leaders swept over the entire plaza. The originally noisy martial arts plaza became completely quiet in an instant. At this moment, among the 3 clan leaders, the elder of the Bai family stood up and said loudly, "I suppose all our clansmen are aware that today is a great day for our 3 clans, as we specifically hold the grand competition ahead of schedule to select those who will enter the ancestral land." Upon hearing the elder mention the ancestral land, all clansmen from the 3 clans on the martial arts plaza grew excited. Even the usually quiet Bai Xiaodai got an excited and eager look in her beautiful eyes. Win the first place in the grand competition of the 3 clans. Enter the ancestral land. Qian Ming of the Qian family clenched his fists tighter, with a gleam flashing in his eyes. The other youths were also gritting their teeth, thinking, "The ancestral land. Enter the ancestral land." At that time, the elder of the Bai family continued, "This grand competition of the 3 clans is to select those eligible for the ancestral land, and only those under the age of 20 can enter. Therefore, only those under the age of 20 are eligible to participate in the grand competition. All others should step back and watch." The requirement mentioned by the elder was already well known by the members of all 3 clans. By then, they had already separated into 2 circles, with those standing near the platform being the youths under 20 who were going to participate in the grand competition. There were as many as 700 or 800 of them. Other members of the 3 clans stood in the spectator circle behind. After the elder finished speaking, the spectators stepped back another 10 meters or so, clearly highlighting the youths participating in the competition. Seeing the distinctly separate circles, the elder nodded and said, "Good. Since those who are participating in the competition are ready, I shall now announce the rules of the competition. This competition will consist of 3 rounds. After these 3 rounds, the 30 individuals entering the ancestral land will be definitively chosen, with each person receiving a pass token to enter the ancestral land. During these 3 rounds, you must bring out your strongest abilities. You must not only strive to be among the top 30, but also fight for the top 10 or even the first place. Because the top 10 of this competition will be granted a special reward that has been passed down through our 3 clans for hundreds of years, designed specifically for those entering the ancestral land. The higher the rank, the greater the reward. When you enter the ancestral land, the help provided by this special reward will be even more significant. The first place winner in this clan competition will receive the highest reward. Special rewards that have been passed down for hundreds of years specifically for those entering the ancestral land, and even the highest reward. The elder's words roused all the youths participating in the grand competition of the 3 clans. In the past grand competitions of the 3 clans, honor was most important, and rewards were only some martial techniques and pills. This time, the grand competition involved the opening of the ancestral land, and unexpectedly, there were special rewards for those entering the ancestral land. This made many who simply wanted to be in the top 30, to obtain a spot in the ancestral land, change their minds. Under these circumstances, they couldn't possibly hold back their strength. They had to fight for a higher ranking and obtain more precious special rewards. The highest reward. Yi Chen's thoughts stirred. He originally didn't want to stand out too much in the clan competition. Being in the top 30 and acquiring a pass token was sufficient for him. The exact ranking didn't matter. Now, the words of the elder made him discard his initial thoughts. The first place of the clan competition would grant the highest reward. For Yi Chen, who aimed to seize a great opportunity in the ancestral land secret realm, it was, of course, something he had to vie for. Not just Yi Chen, but all those who had a chance at first place took the competition seriously, with no trace of underestimation. Someone even spoke up, asking, "Elder, what exactly are the special rewards and the highest reward?" The elder of the Bai family didn't hesitate and directly revealed the special rewards for the top 10 in the grand competition of the 3 clans. He knew that the young folks in the audience would only put in more effort to compete for ranking if they knew about the rewards first. The top 10 in this grand competition of the 3 clans will each receive a copy of the Ancestral Ground Secret Map. This Ancestral Ground Secret Map shows the important treasure areas of the ancestral land. According to the rules set by the Great One who established the ancestral land, only the top 10 of the clan competition are qualified to receive the secret map and explore those important treasure areas. Others can only search for treasure based on the ordinary ancestral land map, relying on luck alone. Moreover, these ancestral ground secret maps are specially crafted, and the top 10 are each unique, with the higher ranks receiving increasingly precious maps. Only those who obtain the secret maps can enter the corresponding important treasure zones. Therefore, don't expect to be able to use the secret maps together. You'll have to rely on your own strength to secure a top 10 ranking and claim your map. Ancestral Ground Secret Map. Important treasure zones. Each secret map is unique. The higher the rank, the more precious the map. These pieces of information clearly indicate that there's a high possibility of obtaining secret treasures from the important treasure zones depicted in the secret maps for those who place in the top 10 of the clan competition. At the very least, it would be easier for them than for others. And the higher the ranking within the top 10, the more precious the secret treasures that can be obtained. Naturally, this made all the young participants in the competition strive even harder for a top 10 ranking, fighting for the best positions within it. This is the special reward for the top 10, and the ultimate reward for the first place in this competition is Ancestral Blood. Ancestral Blood? At the mention of these 2 words, everyone was momentarily stunned. They had no idea what ancestral blood was, but just the term ancestral blood, and the patriarch's mention of the ultimate reward made everyone understand that ancestral blood must be related to one of the most crucial elements of the ancestral land. Ancestral blood is the lifeblood left by the great person who established the ancestral land. Rumor has it that those who possess ancestral blood may even have the chance to obtain the ultimate reward preserved by that great person within the ancestral land, the most precious reward of the entire ancestral land. As he spoke these words, the voice of the Bai family's old patriarch even began to tremble. Our 3 families have inherited the ancestral land for over 1,200 years, and it has been opened 5 times. However, during the previous 5 openings, none who held the ancestral blood found the ultimate reward mentioned by that great person. This time, during the 6th opening of the ancestral land, it remains to be seen who among you will obtain the ancestral blood, and who will be lucky enough to find that ultimate reward. Ancestral blood, the lifeblood left by the great person who established the ancestral land. It's even related to the most precious reward of the entire ancestral land, the ultimate reward that hasn't been discovered in the previous 5 openings. The words of the old patriarch drove everyone into a frenzy. Those who had entered the ancestral land in the past, who did not find the ultimate reward, still obtained countless precious secret treasures and great opportunities to advance to the Spirit Sea realm. If they were to find the ultimate reward, then how precious could this most precious ultimate reward be? Perhaps, compared to the ultimate reward, the countless secret treasures of the past would seem as common as a speck of dust. Although it could be deduced from the old patriarch's words that obtaining ancestral blood did not guarantee finding the ultimate reward, no one would give up even the slightest hope, nor the chance to search for that ultimate prize. Because where there's opportunity, there's possibility. The top 30 in the interfamily competition would earn the right to enter the ancestral land. The top 10 would get the Ancestral Ground Secret Map. The first place winner of the competition would receive the most precious and special ultimate reward, Ancestral Blood. The rewards for the competition announced by the Bai family's old patriarch had fully mobilized the fighting spirit of all the young participants. Even Bai Xiaodong and Shen Yun, who had come with Yi Chan and had not held much hope for making it into the top 30 of the family competition, were now inspired by the atmosphere and willing to give it their all. Chapter 80 Bell Snatching. Seeing the expressions of the young men, Patriarch Bai nodded his head. I have already explained the rewards for this triclan competition. Now, let us officially start the 3 rounds of the competition. The first round will be hosted by Patriarch Yi. After Patriarch Bai finished speaking, he stepped back, and the Yi family's elder stood forward. Our Yi family's elder. Yi Chun looked towards the elder, curious about how he would explain the rules for the first round. Patriarch Ye's gaze swept across the competitors at the martial arts plaza. Then he extended his right hand. In his hand were two small bells, one white and one black. The first round is called bell snatching. These bells in my hand were specially forged by our ancestors from the 3 clans. The Yin-Yang Profound Bell. There are 100 Yin-Yang Profound Bells in total. Among them, the black bells, known as Yin Xianling, number 90, while the white bells, known as Yang Profound Bell, number 10. Once activated, the Yin-Yang Profound Bells will fly chaotically in every direction across the sky. Your task is to capture these 100 bells. Whoever captures a bell will pass the first round and enter the top 100, qualifying for the second round of competition, the arena battles. Capturing one of the 90 black Yin Xianling is somewhat easier. The 90 individuals who capture a Yin Xianling will earn a place as challenger in the second round's arena battles. The 10 white Yang Profound Bells are extremely difficult to capture. Those who capture any of these 10 will earn a place as main defender in the second round's arena battles. As for the positions of challenger and main defender in the second round, we will explain how the battles will be conducted when the time comes. You just need to know that the main defender's position is, of course, more valuable than that of a challenger. If you are capable, try your best to capture one of the 10 Yang Profound Bells. Even if you can't capture a Yang Profound Bell, you must capture a Yin Xianling. Otherwise, you will be directly eliminated. Remember, only 100 competitors will advance from the first round. The rest will be eliminated. The words of Patriarch Yi made the young men preparing to participate in the Triclan competition take a deep breath. The youths participating in the competition numbered 700 to 800. Yet in this first round, the vast majority would be eliminated, leaving only 100 to progress to the next round. This elimination rate was extremely high. Yin Xianling Yang Profound Bell? Yi Chun looked at the 2 small bells, one black and one white, in the elder's hand. Like Yi Chun, Bai Xiaodai, Chen Ming, and others also looked towards the bells in Patriarch Ye's hand, their eyes particularly fixated on the white Yang Profound Bell. Clearly, they intended to take the lead in this first round of the competition by snatching up the 10 most elusive Yang Profound Bells. Patriarch Yi continued, "The bell snatching competition will take place on the 1,000 feet field, to the west of our Triclan Martial Arts Plaza. After seizing a bell, infuse it with true qi. The bell will burst, claiming it as your own. Each person can only infuse true qi into a bell once, and once a bell is claimed, they must withdraw from the contest. Now, all those participating in the first round, head to the 1,000 feet field to prepare." After Patriarch Yi finished speaking, all the young men participating in the Triclan competition rushed towards the 1,000 feet field, while the spectators also moved to watch from outside the field. The 1,000 feet field was an enormous area thousands of feet in square to the west of the martial arts plaza, usually used by the members of the 3 clans for martial demonstrations. At that moment, over 800 youth stood in the 1,000 feet field. They waited in silence for the beginning of the first round of the bell-snatching competition. "Yi Chun, are you confident you can snatch a black Yin Xianling?" Seeing each young man around him staring up at the sky, Bai Xiaodong started to feel nervous, fearing he might be eliminated in this very first round of bell snatching. At that moment, Chen Yun wasn't much better off than Bai Xiaodong. To be among the top 100 out of more than 800 contenders, his odds weren't great. Yi Chun looked at Bai Xiaodong and Chen Yun, smiled and said, "Just now, the elder said that each person can only infuse true qi into a bell once and choose only one bell, but he didn't say we can't help others snatch, right? Xiaodong, Yun, I'll try to see if I can help you snatch too. Do you want a Yin Xianling or a Yang Profound Bell? However, I've never snatched a Yang Profound Bell, so I'm not sure how easy it will be to snatch." Yi Chen's words took Bai Xiaodong and Chen Yun by surprise. What? Yi Chun was going to help them snatch bells? With all the young men around them completely focused, fearing they might not catch one, Yi Chun was confident he could help them both snatch a bell, and he had even proposed to help them snag the most difficult Yang Profound Bell. Considering there were only 10 Yang Profound Bells in total and that Yi Chun was only at the 7th level of True Qi, with no less than 30 people on the field of a higher realm than him, he still aimed for the Yang Profound Bell. Bai Xiaodong and Chen Yun were startled by Yi Chun's words. What they didn't know was that Yi Chun had already cultivated the Shen grade movement technique wind movement skills, which he obtained from the Thousand Lotus Cave abode, to a minor level of proficiency, allowing him to fly more than 50 meters or even soar up to 50+ meters with the wind. It was rare for disciples in the realm of True Qi to cultivate such a Shen grade movement technique, let alone to reach a minor level of proficiency. 100 bells? Yi Chun was certainly going to try and snatch a few more. No need for the Yang Profound Bell. Even if we managed to snatch the Yang Profound Bell, the second round of the competition might not be easy.
Yi Chun,
if you can really help, it would be great if you can help us snatch the Yin Xianling. The two looked at Yi Chun, who didn't seem to be joking, and impulsively spoke out. Okay. I'll try. Whether it's the Yang Profound Bell or the Yin Xianling, I'll snatch two for you. Yi Chen's eyes sparkled with divine light. This first round of bell snatching was indeed interesting, and he was keen to really give it a try. While Yi Chun and the others were talking, Patriarch Yi had already carried a large bag to the outskirts of the 1,000-feet field. Seeing the large bag in his hand, everyone knew that this must contain the Yin Yang Profound Bells for the first round of the competition. The bells that fly. The first round of the competition is about to begin. Everyone watching from outside the field turned their attention towards the 1,000-feet field. In the crowd, the little girl tower was with Yi Xiaotian and Lin Rin, and she too got excited. Young master is about to compete. I wonder what color bell he will snatch in the first round? Chun, come on. Strive to snatch a bell. Yi Xiaotian and Lin Rin were also getting anxious at this moment, watching Yi Chen's faintly visible figure in the 1,000-feet field without blinking. When Patriarch Yi reached the edge of the 1,000-feet field, all the young participants of the three clans' grand competition gathered their full attention. They were ready to snatch the moment the old patriarch activated the Yin Yang Profound Bell. As everyone held their breath, Patriarch Ye's bag suddenly shook violently. Whoosh! 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 Countless black small bells flew rapidly towards the inside of the 1,000-feet field in an instant. Among these countless black small bells, 10 white Yang Profound Bells shot out like flames towards the sky at high speed. Boom! 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 As countless bells surged out in an instant, the youths in the 1,000-feet field shook their true qi violently, using their movement techniques to chase after the scattered bells. Among these numerous figures, several shot directly towards the white bells soaring into the sky, and it was evident they were after the white Yang Profound Bells. Within these figures, one moved faster and soared higher than all the others. In an instant, he powered up and soared straight up 40 to 50 meters high, even surpassing the white bells shooting towards the sky. This figure then reached out with a large hand and grabbed at 3 white bells, and with a lightning-fast move, he actually snatched 3 white Yang Profound Bells. What? Who is that? Such swift movement. When spectators outside the 1,000-feet field saw the figure soaring higher and faster than anyone else, grabbing 3 white bells in one go, they all shouted out in shock. The 3 great patriarchs watching this first round of competition from outside the field were all agape as well. It's not Xiao Dai. It's not Qian Ming. Which youth is that? Patriarch Bai and Patriarch Chen from the 3 great patriarchs were completely dumbfounded. And in Patriarch Ye's mind flashed a name. Could it be him, Yi Chun? Within the crowd of onlookers, the little girl tower saw the figure that had soared into the sky and grabbed 3 white small bells, and she exclaimed excitedly, "It's young master!" This figure, surpassing everyone and grabbing 3 white Yang Profound Bells, was none other than Yi Chun.